Alrighty, y'all. Welcome. Here we go. We are live on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Ready to rock and roll for the third stint of the IMSA Rolex 24 in our family of networks. My goodness, it has been a day. We are now officially 10 hours into this race and some change. It has been laughs and fun and absolute craziness over these last 10 hours. Oh my goodness. Listening to USRN 2 all day long. Wow, there's some characters, man. You gotta love it. Matthew Owens spending the majority of his last 10 hours on air. Seth Eves, the gentleman from across the pond, Mr. Matt White, and newcomer Josh. My first time hearing him on USRN, so awesome stuff there. Collins, Janice, and company in the last stint. And well, here we are now into this third stint. My goodness, it has been a show. I'll tell you that. But you are continuing that show here with us on IE Sports Radio as we are getting ready to deliver you this third stint, aren't we, babe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now she wants to come over here.
Hold it with her.
We're just finishing dinner.
Yeah, sorry.
So, our apologies. But ladies and gentlemen, this is our first live call together. We got the TV on, we got our notes in hand, and we are prepared. Maybe not so prepared, I don't know. But all we know is this is going to be a fun 3 hours because we're going to be with y'all until midnight on the West Coast, 3 in the morning on the East Coast. Oh yeah. It's gonna be fun. I hope you're excited, y'all, because it's gonna be a box of goodies. You are listening to the third stint of the IMSA Rolex 24 right here on our family of networks on IE Sports Radio, Spreaker.com, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen, your direct feed for all that is sports. Alrighty, man, here we go. We are officially, let's see, like I said, we're over 10 hours into this race. We have 13 hours and 33 minutes to go in this one, just passing that mark right now, as we are zoning in live on this number 10. Rossi has, this car has been dominant all day long. Absolutely incredible seeing this car and what it has been able to do. I thought I saw a blown tire. All I gotta say is we have been in and out of this race all day long. We've been busy cleaning at home, just taking a day because Cecilia and I are both teachers and we're crazy with our schedule. And I'll tell you, it has been pretty cool to see all of this going on throughout the day. This is really Cecilia's first time getting to check out all of this. Last year, of course, we were together during this race, but we weren't living together just yet. I was telling her all about, and we got trouble! Unfortunately, we have great. Well, we got somebody in the sand pit over here. And this looks to be, oh my goodness, the damage to that. Oh boy, looks like we got a major it's the 20, you guys. It is that number 20. And it is just scooting down the track and just got rid of some fiberglass there in the back. And unfortunately, the LMP2 of Fabio Scherer of Sweden, unfortunately, is just absolutely torn apart. He's still cruising, so thankfully he can get back to the pits. But oh, look at this. He has a blown rear left. It looks like that front also maybe, but yeah, his entire rear end is hanging on and scratching the heck out of that left rear. And it looks like, I don't know if that right rear is on its way down or whatnot, but it looks like it's pretty much, this car is pretty much on its way out of this race. I want to say out of the race, but it's certainly going to take a toll here. And going to cost some laps as he heads back to the pits. Just what an unfortunate event. Let's take a quick look here at the replay. And it looks like he ended up in the barrier. Not quite sure. Let's see what turn this was in. However, he's heading back to the pits. I think he's in safely. But man, what a horrible turn of events for him. To think this would have been he's actually we're having the worst race in that number 20. But yeah, once again, unfortunately, this is not the result you want in this one. This is, I believe, the 9th, if I'm not mistaken, the 9th caution of this race here today. And we are, my goodness, let's see here. He's heading back to the pits, and yeah, lights are flickering, wheel is down, and this car is literally falling apart as it makes its way back to the pits. So, how about that, babe? We just get on in the first 11 minutes of this broadcast, and we have a car into the barriers, and he's skidding his way. Okay, so here we go. We're taking a quick look here at the replay. Coming around, I believe the first turn, and he gets loose, and he's gone. There was no saving that. He gets loose and reverses himself right into the barrier of tires. And then you see this poor car. It's kind of crawling back to the pits. How about this wreck to start the race off for us, babe?
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, at least it wasn't like a wreck or something like that. At least he was able to save himself by going backwards and moving out of the way from everyone.
Yeah, thankfully he's okay. He's fine, thankfully. And on top of that, he is also going to make it back to the pits. Now, from what oh boy, here we go. And he's getting followed back very nicely. Getting followed back to the pits here. And he will be just kind of scraping. And does this look like it's a blown front right as well? Do you see this tire on the front flapping around?
Uh-huh.
I do believe he has 2 blown tires. Oh man, the fiberglass is all blown off of this car, and that's the toughie about this kind of race. So how about this, babe? How about this? You have a strong car the majority of the day. Here you are coming up on 11 hours of this race, and wouldn't you know it? Something so simple like this happens. I believe the tire probably went before he got into that turn. And before you know it, your car is spinning and turning around. And you are now into the wall, into the barrier. Your car has lost a lot of the body. You have 2 tires that have gone down. You possibly could have 2. You're skating around on 2 rims right now that are probably getting damaged as we speak, which could really mess up those tires, the fresh tires that get put on it. We don't know how much damage is done to the car. I mean, where is your mindset right now? I gotta ask you a few questions. This is your first time really getting into this. So, where is your mindset right now as the driver that this just happened to so late into the race?
Like how I feel?
If that was you. If you spun out, here you are. Like I said, your car is running good. You got a good, strong car. And then out of nowhere, just you take a turn, and guess what? A rear left blows. You go into a wall. Poof! Your car turns into dust. It was a beautiful car just a few moments ago. Now there's pieces ripped off of it. You got your tires completely, 2 tires are flatter than flat. You're trying to wrestle that thing back to the pits because nobody can come help you. You got to take your car back to the pits. That's the rule, I believe in IMSA. So, and here you are. You might have been the driver that started it, because I think that we might have the drivers that started this morning back in there already. But you might be that driver or the last driver before the first person gets back in it. And guess what? You had a great race going, and now, unfortunately, your car's in pieces, and you have no idea now where you're going to finish because your car's blown up, and all you're trying to do is get back to the pits and try to get back out there. How do you feel?
Well, at first, if I was not injured or hurt, I'd be thanking God first for saving my life and sparing my life in that moment.
Agreed.
And then second, I'd probably be pretty ticked off and be like, gosh darn it, like why? Why would this happen? Now I don't know what place I'm gonna, but then I'll try to hurry up, get my car fixed, or at least hopefully, God willing, it'd be able to get fixed, and then try to hustle my butt back out there and get back to either where I was or in a better place.
And I'll tell you, that is exactly the mindset of these drivers. You hit it on the head. Because what more can you do? You can't do anything else. You can't snap your fingers and make your car go back together and get back on the track. They have to work on this thing now. And look at here. As we can see here, they're ripping off that back panel. So they're going to get a whole new... Now, the cool part about these cars is they actually will repair the damage. They will rip off they'll rip off the panels, and they actually got new ones.
Well, that's good. To always have backups.
Yeah, see, so they're going ahead and they're putting on a brand new one here. They snap on fairly easy. However, these are precious moments. Yes, it's caution. And we're going to be cruising around track for a little bit with the caution going. But just so you know, this team just lost beautiful, valuable moments that they could be out there running this race. And really what this is doing is just setting them back a whole lot more than they wanted to.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, all you really got to do is hope that... I mean, it's kind of messed up, but you don't hope, but you kind of go, hey, if one of those cars spin out that I'm racing against, it wouldn't be so bad. Yeah. I mean, kind of, you're not hoping, you're not saying I hope they crash, but you're like, if they wrecked, it wouldn't be so bad. Kind of messed up, but I mean, but unfortunately, that's what it... And then, they've had a pretty good day. This 20 car has had a pretty good day. I mean, I haven't had the best day, but it's been pretty solid, at least from what we've seen. Like I said, we have had quite the day, both you and I. But, so we appreciate it, by the way, that we're getting some tweets here from Collins Janice, who is just a part of it. So the big ups to everybody at USRN continuing us, throwing us some tweets, calling Jenna saying, have fun. We certainly did. Well, we certainly are. We're just 17 minutes into this broadcast, and we've got, I believe, our 9th caution of the day. This is a lot of cautions today, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We've seen some wrecks earlier. Man, we've seen some nasty ones. Unfortunately, I think one of the first wrecks of the day, we saw one of the GTD cars, the Lamborghini, I believe, earlier. And so go ahead and tell us about that real fast. That was your first time seeing like a wreck in one of these races, I believe, or at least, in a race like this. Go ahead and tell everybody, babe, what you were telling me earlier when that car wrecked.
I don't remember what I said.
My goodness, just kidding.
I have a horrible memory, even though it happened earlier today. What did I say? Yes, I refresh my memory.
Yeah, you say it was a bummer for them, right? I mean,
yeah, I was just basically saying, like, I don't like to see any of them wreck. I know that they're all competing against each other in a way that's part of the racing, but it sucks to see them. I said I would like to see them at least still cross the finish line, even if they're in last place.
Absolutely. No, we're of course, we're together on that. What a bummer when you see this happen. I always say, like, right now we're seeing this meandering river look right now with these cars heading around the track, and it's a caution. I was telling Cecilia earlier, I love what it looks like. It's like moving Christmas lights. These little cars are moving out there, but just what a day so far. So we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit of a recap when we get through these at the moment while coming up. But I will say this, babe. So far we're about 11. Like I said, we're getting close to 11 hours into this race. So far today, I think I've talked enough. I've talked to her off enough this day of racing than she probably ever wanted in her life.
Yes. But it's okay. It's still interesting and fun to learn.
It's a different kind of race. So as we're now in caution, looks like that 20 is back in the pits. They're snapping the car back together. Thankfully, he's okay. Everything's good. He's going to get back on the track. He's going to be down some. He's going to have to fight back to get where he was. But hey, that's part of the race, right? Mm-hmm. That's a part of it. Sometimes you're gonna wreck. And I was on to say earlier, oh man, now these temperatures are cooler. As a matter of fact, let's take a look. Oh hey, Owen Parkin, how's it going? Well, big ups to Owen. I do know this gentleman. He's pretty awesome. He Red Box, of course, over on USRN. Great dude. He is he actually does, he can help out with our drops, which of course is pretty cool. He actually makes audio. There's some really cool stuff. So big ups to Owen Parkin.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think last time we talked was a while back, but great dude. So he's heading on over from Mixer.com, checking us out here, continuing the third stint of calls today of our family of networks. We are in the third stint of 6. So, can you believe this, babe? Can you believe us crazy nuts? A part of these 3 stations, we spend hours and hours and hours of our days for this 24-hour race. Can you imagine we do every year just doing this?
No, not really. But hey, it's all for fun and making something out of it, so makes it worth it.
It really does, and I'll tell you. So good evening to Mr. Owen Parkin. I think he's over there on the East Coast. So if I'm not mistaken, 12:21 for him over there right now, and he's tuned in, ready to roll. So he says it was really difficult to find y'all. By the way, the offer is still open if you want the drop. Well, hey man, as soon as we start getting things going, man. A little bit better with the jobs, but he says I'd be more than happy to make one or sell for some levels on your existing ones. Well, we thank you very much. Sorry about that there, Owen. I know definitely not the easiest. It's just really having the links. That's kind of, I think, the hardest thing for us. to find us. But, our kitty's just kind of cruising around right now with us. But we just had dinner, so winding down from the day. But sorry about that, Owen. But glad that you are here with us today. Well, tonight that is, as we get ready to talk about the continuance of this Rolex 24. Man, it has been a good one, and well, we're going to continue that on here. So as we were talking a few moments ago here about this Rolex 24, man, it has been quite the good one. Coming up on 13 hours to go. And, yeah. Oh, and Mixler is so much easier to find streams on, we know. Unfortunately, for us earlier, I spent about 2 hours today, and, oh, man, it was just a bummer. We had, unfortunately, our computer just wasn't working with us, and long story short, we couldn't run Mixler on our app, the app on our computer, which sucks. So kind of a bummer, but at least we're able to do it here on Spreaker, and we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here with us here, and he says that he will be with us here until the men's final of the Australian Open. Then he's off to walk out. Well, glad that you'll be here with us. By the way, that should be quite the matchup. That's right, the Australian Open is, of course, today, and the men's, that is, and really, really excited for this one. We have Rafael Nadal and Medvedev going head-to-head here, and certainly going to be a great match. That's actually going to get underway, I believe. The match is going to be at, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's actually going to be after we're done here, Owen. So, I know Australian time, it'll be about 3:30, 3:30, what do you call it, local time. And that's 12 for us. So, 12:30 for us. So, Owen says here, are there any Canadians in the Rolex 24? I believe there was a few Canadians, as a matter of fact. We'll go ahead and take a look through the notes here. Mr. Matt Owens was very, very thoughtful, of course, to send us his notes from here. And we have quite the field of plenty of drivers. There are drivers from Denmark, from Sweden. We have Belgian drivers. Bato Ward, of course, winning very excited for him, winning the Long Beach Grand Prix last year in Indy. He's riding along here today. Of course, we got some Brazilians, a couple Spaniards, lots of French, and let's see here. Actually, I don't know if I see any Canadians in here. I thought we did. Unless I didn't know they were Canadian. So let's take a look here. Yeah, Garrett Grist, actually, yes. Rolling in that 38 LMP3. He is a part of that Performance Tech Motorsports team, running that JSP320 VK. Looks like should be a pretty solid car. We'll find out where they are right now through the field as we go ahead and get ready to go through the fields. But I go ahead and pull all that information up momentarily. I was telling Celia earlier that we have seen some great racing, especially during the night, of infamously in the Rolex 24. Man, we've seen some great racing through the night. The temperatures drop, track gets a little different, and sometimes, man, it's crazy to see these drivers and the moves they make at night to make things happen while that sun is down. We actually have, I want to take a look real quick because earlier they were, Collins and Matthew Owens were talking about the temperature, and right now we are just above freezing, 37 degrees over at Daytona Beach right now. How would you like to be there?
No, thank you. I hate the cold. I would not survive that.
Yeah, you were not a cold person whatsoever, man. Now, me, on the other hand, I'd love this weather. Oh.
Yeah, you could live there.
Yeah, you'd be like...
I couldn't.
You're just like, you can live there by yourself. I ain't going with you. So, currently, 37 degrees. Crazy enough, over here in Southern California, we're I mean, we're not the warmest at the moment, but 52 degrees, I think, is much better than 37.
Yes, it is.
So, 52 degrees local for us over here in SoCal and the Inland Empire. And, 37 degrees over there in Daytona Beach. Man, quite the cold they got over there. So, we got lots more to come here today. Thank you all for tuning in. We're really excited for this. And, well, we do have, I just wanted to go ahead and mention this last night, by the way. Big ups, of course, to Miss Ashley Barty winning the women's Australian Open title. She's got it done, 10 aces. Wow, she won this in 2 straight sets. So, congratulations to her winning this thing and getting it done, defeating very skilled Danielle Collins here. So big ups to her. And but what do we got? Oh, looks like we got some. Oh no, this race just keeps getting crazier. Looks like we got ourselves a tire on the track. Just a random tire. What did you see, babe, while I was looking at the Australian Open? What did you see out there?
I didn't see anything. All I saw was right when I looked up, I took a glance at the TV, and then all I saw was a tire on the street, and the crew went to go get it. It was a blown tire.
Blown freaking tire, just hanging out, chilling on the strip there. So, oh man, this race, babe. So far, this is tell you, we have been here, of course, all day long, checking this thing out. We've been cooking. We've been we've been cooking. We've been cleaning. We've been doing laundry. We've been doing so much. Of course, we had USRN and USRN 2 on all day long. But from what you've seen today, has this been madness to you?
Yeah, a little, I guess. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been too bad, but yeah.
It's definitely not the craziest. But I think this is our 9th or 10th caution.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Owens did say, he predicted there would be 12 in this one. But we're not even halfway done. And, well, actually, we're getting close to halfway. Can you believe that? Close. We're not even halfway yet.
Oh, dang.
And we're at 9 cautions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, 9 or 10. But Owen says here, hopefully I make it until the men's final. I've got one more beer left. So the chance of me passing out after all these drinks is very probable. Well, Owen, we're certainly hoping you can stay up till then. You got 3 hours until the start of that one. Once again, Rafael Nadal.
What time does that start?
The men's final for the Australian Open is at 12:30 a.m. our time, 3:30 for Owen on the East Coast in the morning.
Oh, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
Pulling an all-nighter.
Pulling an all-nighter. Yeah, he definitely is. I just mentioned a little bit ago, Miss Ashley Barty of Australia, an actual Australian, won the Women's Australian Open last night, so congratulations to her.
Nice.
Great job for her. If I'm not mistaken, Ashley Barty actually, let's see here. I do know that, sorry, bless you. Bless you, babe. I know, yeah. we've had a day, you guys. But, yeah, Ashley Barty, if I'm not mistaken, she has quite the, that's okay, again. But yeah, quite the resume. Really, it has been awesome seeing the winds of change in the tennis world. Of course, we're not going to go too much off on tennis, but I'll say, really, it's been pretty awesome seeing some of these young stars rise. And Nadal, I mean, this guy, I think it's pretty significant right now. I guess we're just going to go into a little bit of tennis here, but we have some of the best in the world actually right now going at it, and it's pretty cool to see these guys: Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Rafa, and Owen says, "Never mind, I miscounted. I have 2 more beers, and they're both strong ones." Well, enjoy, Owen. Hopefully we don't annoy you too much for these. So Nadal is going to beat Medvedev. Absolutely. The odds makers don't know what they're talking about. Well, the cool part about it right now is check this out, man. So we have Roger Federer, one of the greatest in the world to ever play tennis. Has 20 Grand Slam titles. Rafael Nadal, playing tonight. Rafa has 20 titles as well. Novak Djokovic, another monster of tennis, also has 20. If Rafa wins tonight, he will move ahead and have the most Grand Slam titles ever for any men ever in the history of tennis.
Wow.
Pretty cool, right?
That is cool.
And it's crazy because Federer and Djokovic are still active.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of crazy to think that we got the Australian Open right now, the final. Coming up in May, we're going to have the French Open. And the French Open is almost unfair. Rafael Nadal is I think he has freaking, I don't know how many French Opens he has. Like 10 or 11 or 12, something like that. But he owns clay tennis courts. He's the man. So, pretty crazy. He could actually win another one and move up and come out with 2 and be 2 ahead. However, both Roger Federer and Djokovic, absolutely, they could catch him. We got in July, we actually have here the Wimbledon, and then in September, the U.S. Open. So we have 4 or every year, 4 Grand Slams, and these guys are still active. They're older, but pretty cool, right? They're still active, and they're competing like this for the most ever.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right? So we're just back underway, by the way. The green flag just dropped, and we're coming up on 13 hours to go. We're on to the DPI field. We have Nunez out front in that 31 car, pulling out ahead as they exit around the bend here. And also we have here that number 60, Helio Castro Neves, the only man to have ever, a couple other have won 4, but he's going after 5 this year in the Indy 500. Looking forward to that. I am a Castro Neves fan, so Helio Castro Neves trailing Nunez right now in that number 60 Acura. Then we have that number 10 Rossi trailing as well. Solid car. Number 10. And then we have also here in the DPI field, Paulo. And he is trailing by, and they're all, of course, very close right now in time. Well, because they're, one after the other. So that number 10 Acura of Konica Milanta Acura is amazing. That DPI is rolling, and I honestly do believe that this thing can catch the other 2. It's moving up. We are riding the board right now as he goes right around turn 1, and he just gets eased out. My goodness, I thought he could overtake. Did not, however. They go into the bus stop, and he's rolling on into the inside and does not happen to get there just in time as that 10 is heading them off. So, with that said, head back to the chat room here. Owen Parkin says, if Djokovic doesn't smart up and get the vaccine, he won't be winning any Grand Slam titles this year, rightfully so also. So Djokovic actually, do believe, will not try to be vaccinated this year, or not. I do believe he's against the vaccine, or I don't know if he's against it, but he hasn't gotten it, and lots of athletes are speaking out of this. What an interesting topic, of course, babe. But there's actually a lot of resistors in the professional athlete field that honestly may have jeopardized their playtime, or even just maybe even bigger things like Djokovic. What do you think about that?
Well, I think with the vaccine, it's a very touchy subject for everyone. So, I wouldn't want to say too much because, I have my own personal... I'm not against it.
Yeah.
So, I guess, yeah. Anyway, but, I also believe in, too, is that you shouldn't force people to get things that they don't want. So, I don't know. I don't feel like that they should penalize these athletes. They're, I'm pretty sure, or at least I would hope that they're still being careful and still taking the precautions that they need to do to, keep themselves healthy and also their players healthy or their teammates healthy. So, yeah.
I agree, and we are both pro-choice when it comes to vaccines. Some people just are strongly against it. That's on them. We're definitely not against the vaccine, but Djokovic, that's up to him. If tennis is requiring this or saying, "Hey, you need this to work," I think at that point in time, once again, pro-choice, but the consequences are real.
It just sucks though, but
It does suck.
because it's taken their right away.
It is, and that sucks. But same exact time, if it's going to be mandated, if it's going to be out there, hey, I guess it's either get vaccinated or lose your chance of making history, I guess, as an athlete. And it is a rough situation. And once again, we're all about pro-choice with this thing. But, hey, I guess it's up to him, So whatever he decides, I do feel that... yeah, it's quite the bummer for him. So hopefully he gets vaccinated, and if that's what tennis is requiring right now, lots of vaccines or lots of athletes are being required or being strongly encouraged. So yeah, but Djokovic, we'll see. But Rafa's still around, and Federer, of course. Some people would call him the best of the three at the top right now. So we have lots of things going on in the tennis world. So. But thanks for chiming in, Owen Parkin. We appreciate you tuning in. So we're back to the green flag once again, coming up on just 13 hours to go. I say it like it's just nothing. It's 13 hours. But here we go, back to the in-car view here. So we're riding around once again with Acker. Alrighty, and yeah, so let's see here. So Owen Parkin says here, yeah, he's pretty pro-mandate, and yeah, if he can't bring himself to get it, then he can't. And yeah, see, so I do, and see, he has every right to feel that way. So absolutely, Owen. Personally, man, like I said, that's totally how you feel. And if that's what the mandate is, then that's unfortunately on him. I mean, if I'm sitting here and my job says, hey, you need this vaccination, or you can't make no more money, I mean, it's pretty obvious what we're going to do, when it comes to the vaccine. So,
2 weeks his own.
2 weeks his own, though. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Kind of a bummer, but, hey, I mean...
That's a very touchy subject.
It is very touchy, so we'll see. But, back to this race. What a start we've had back to this thing, man. We're headed down to here we go. So we're at 13:01, 13 hours and 1 minute to go here. And, well, here we head on back to the GTDs. Now, I was explaining, okay, so everybody listening, of course, Owen Parkin. We're going to continue on our coverage of the race and go through some of the fields. But... wrapping your head around this for the first time. Cecilia has not actually sat through one of these before, like we have today, and kind of seen all of this. Now that you kind of see, I've told her many times about how this race works, but it's really nothing until you can see it. How do you feel about this now? Now that you're able to see, a certain amount of cars only race. I mean, really the only way to explain this to our audience, what I was telling Cecilia, is that it's basically a few cars versus one another, and the rest are traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Some are faster than others, some are slower than others.
Mm-hmm.
But all you really care about are the people in your class. Don't let them pass you. That's it. So now that you've actually got a chance to see it, we're racing at 12:41 local time, AM local time right now. Now that you're able to see this go on today for almost 10 hours, I mean, how are you feeling about this race now?
It's, cool, interesting. It's fun to watch and see them all compete against. Well, they're not competing against each other, but, I mean, in their own class, yes, but not everyone against each other. But, yeah, I mean, it's cool.
Absolutely. I love it.
Look at
And it looks like we have another wreck. Oh my!
I really hope that person made it.
Oh my goodness. It is another caution. Here we go again. Safety crew has head on over, and it looks like, oh boy, we have ourselves another yellow flag. I believe this is the 10th, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 10 or 11, but I'm pretty sure this is 10 yellows on the day so far. And what, oh my goodness. And we didn't even really see what happened. We just kind of caught the end of it. Well, at least the coverage did on the TV. So we're going to find out. Looks like the driver is not out of the car just yet. So we're looking. They do have that door open. And we shall see. He's moving around in there. And thankfully, he's moving around.
Oh, that's good.
He looks all right. But he might be a little shaken up. So let's see here. Owen says here, I was hoping Djokovic not being there would open up the field more. Felix, yes, that's right. Yes. 2 fellow Canadians there. And Shalapov, great players. And honestly, when it comes down to it, man, you always gotta cheer on, right? You always gotta cheer on your boys and your fellow countrymen. So certainly, maybe I don't know, maybe we'll see some of these guys moving forward in the next couple of Grand Slams, depending on what happens with everything. So certainly, but hey, let's see how those Canadians will fare in this next Grand Slam. Owen also says that's what gets me about Rolex 24. I wish there were more battles for the lead, and this is something true. He says even if it was for separate classes, I find what I tune in to these broadcasts. So he says I find my tune in these broadcasts. I don't get a lot of those. It just seems like there's not a lot of car-to-car battles for positioning. Okay, I have to elaborate. Great stuff there, Owen, because I agree. Personally, I would love to see more of that too. It's kind of like you get one car out front for every class, and it's not that they're running away with it, but they are running sometimes, stronger than other cars, and well, realistically, they may just continue to open up that gap. And if there is no yellow flags, sometimes it just happens where that car pulls away, and before you know it, they're leading by a whole minute, their particular field of cars. And I completely agree here with Owen, just because you do want to see a battle. I myself love soccer. I'm a football fan, of course. So I love both American and even the Canadian. I love the CFL as well. Great stuff there up in the Great White North up there in Canada. But I will say that I do like to see good battles, and it kind of reminds me sometimes of European soccer. European soccer, of course, there are no playoffs. They just play a strict 35, 36, 37, 38 matches. And that's pretty much it. Whoever's leading with the most points kind of sucks, And it's crazy to think that we don't really get a lot here. So let's see here. Owen says, I just find, and it's no offense to you guys at all, I just don't get a lot of commentary. It just seems like a lot of broadcasts is you guys talking, waiting for something to happen. Again, nothing against you. I just wish it was more for the listener, especially when I'm blind, can't see a TV. Well, realistically, it's just crazy to think the battles here seem to not always open. It's one of those things. There's really not much when it comes down to these things at the moment. I mean, it's kind of a bummer when we get a lot of yellows, and kind of some bummers when it comes to yellows, and we just kind of don't always get what we want. So yeah, overall, for this battle, for this race here, this type of race, I do feel that personally, I wish there was actually a little more. I honestly wish there was less. More, maybe a few less cars. When it comes down to it, I don't know. I just kind of feel like there's a little something that goes along with that. But overall, great field here tonight. And realistically, the yellows are keeping this more interesting than all. So we're going to roll on into us now where it looks like we are just under 13 hours to go. And we are getting on in to, let's see here. Okay, so getting on in here, of course, the back straight. Just kind of got cars filling out their tires and getting things around. And overall, Nunez and Castroneves, this will be the battle. These two cars, of course, the 31 and the 60, have had wonderful days. Overall, I do feel like Castroneves has certainly and absolutely certainly had the day that he's been looking for, at least when he's behind the wheel. But the crazy part is, so, hey, pizza's always a great idea, Owen, personally. So, hey, I'm just saying, man, pizza, can't go wrong with pizza. So, hey, if you can order some pizza right now, especially at this time, shoot, enjoy. Enjoy. So, all right, so we are back under the green, and it looks like Halo Castroneves is back out front. Moving on in here to turn 1, and what here? Running behind him with that number 5, and the LMP2, Habsburg, VK, Jensen, and Philip. Then we have here in the LMP3 category, the number 74, the 13, the 33, and the 54. GTDP, we have that 14, the 2, the 9, and the 15. And in the GTD, that 32, 16, 57, and the 66. So, hey, Owen, you make sure to get that, man. Great pizza is always hard to find at this hour. So if you can get it, man, enjoy. So, alrighty, so looks like that's our field at the moment. And we are rolling in. Looks like we have more trouble. And it is the 31. Looks like heading on over to pit road. Not sure what we got going on here. Looks like, well, definitely heading on to pit road. Not quite sure what's happening. But, well, we shall find out momentarily. All right, so moving on forward, back into the race. We got Castroneves out there leading the charge. Just an incredible driver. I mean, he's definitely opening up a gap. It's not the biggest gap, of course. I mean, we just got back on the green. But as you can see, taking this track by the horns, as he usually does in every race. We just talked about him momentarily, a few moments ago, and he could be the only, and yet again, here we go again, another one. Looks like it's that 39 of the GTD category. Looks like we have ourselves yet another yellow coming out. Let's see here. So as they go to the bus stop, looks like that. No,
they hit him.
That 27 got right into him and spun him, and well, there we go again. So. Great. Great. Oh boy, yep. It's let's see here. Get a little spin action, that 27. So it looks like we've got that I'm sorry, the 21, my apologies, got into him. And looks like we are now still under green, but that 21 does have a tire down, so he'll be heading to the pits. But we're still staying under green. Thank God we're under green. We didn't go into caution.
Yeah, that's good.
So, with that said, we have ourselves quite the battle going on here. I mean, I'd like to call it a battle, but once again, Castroneves is looking strong out front. And looks like that 2 car, Bamber, trailing him at the moment. DPI, of course, incredible class. You have the fastest cars out there right now. We have here in that Cadillac, the DPI, Alex Powell, great driver. But we're riding aboard with him right now, courtesy of USA. We're watching the race. But anyway, moving back to Castroneves. This guy is the real deal. He's chasing 5 Indy 500s. I mean, how about that? If he wins it this year in May, he'll be the only man to have ever won 5 Indy 500s. How about that?
That's crazy. But that's cool as well.
he's the man, Brasileño, wonderful driver, and certainly one of the best of this entire era. So really cool to see him there. And, well, he's doing the thing right now, out front, leading the DPI class. So looking pretty strong, looking great out there. So, alrighty, let's go ahead and head on over back here to the LMP2. Looks like Habsburg out front in VK. So 8 and the 29, just 1 second apart. Somewhat of a battle going on there. However, that number 8 does look pretty dang fast here. We actually see the gap starting to widen now. Slowly but surely, Castroneves adding on precious tenths of seconds moving forward. And yeah, so realistically right now, the only one that's not a battle is the LMP3. That 74 is 14 seconds ahead of second place, and then the other ones are a lap down. So yeah, looking pretty comfortable out there right now. Looks like we have the 32 in the grass. Oh boy, this is the GTD of the 32 there in the grass, unfortunately. But and I believe, let's see, that's the AMG Drive Performance, the Gilbert Koroff Motorsports there, the Mercedes, hanging out in the grass. However, no caution. Yay! When we don't get caution, it's nice. Little bumps and bruises happen, correct?
Yeah.
So, anyway. So, moving forward here, we got some more battling going on here. And, well, the LMP3, once again, Van Berlo looking strong, 20-second gap. I wouldn't say cruise it, but definitely in this state, you kind of want to take care of the car.
Yeah.
You're leading by 20 seconds. You're looking good. You don't want to give it up or anything, but at the same exact time, you don't necessarily need to be too crazy and race as if you're trying to gain a position. Don't get too conservative, but realistically, don't drive the car to hell, and don't slip up and ruin your chances, or blow a tire or anything. So, anyway, so here we go back into turn 1. Hello, Castroneves looking strong right out front, and looks like that number 2 of Bamber right behind him. And it looks like that gap is quickly closing. Man, how about this so far? Looking strong out front. And Earl Bamber of Australia, New Zealand, out front, or right next to him, looking pretty darn legit in that DPI and that Cadillac. And, well, we have ourselves quite the battle for first place in this DPI. How are you feeling about this little battle so far? It looks like that number 2 caught that 60 pretty fast, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Ooh, is he going to pass him?
It looks like he was, honestly. Yeah. Looked like he could have there. We have a little bit of static there from Castroneves. Kind of looked like he was going to make a move to the inside.
Yeah. And
then he kind of fled up track. Moving at these speeds, it's incredible because, these cars are hitting heavy speed. And just the smallest little tilt of the wheel, and your car's going to go here or there real fast.
Yeah, I'd be too scared.
You got to love it, right? you're going to love these. He'll love these moves. But, alrighty, so here we go. Moving on down, continuing on down the track. Here we go, and Castroneves will pass through the tri-oval, leading yet another lap, looking strong. But once again, that 2 is on him, my goodness. He's opened up a little bit of a gap again. So, Earl Bamber of New Zealand, he is the 2019 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Champion of the GTLM category. And realistically, he is fighting Castroneves pretty well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
He's given quite the push here. Throttle certainly throttle happy. However, my concern is the fact that getting close to Castroneves, he is quite the defensive driver. We've seen him head off drivers in the Indy Series before, in IndyCar, and he certainly knows how to drive defensively out front. So it's this tricky being able to pass this guy. And I do feel like, I don't know, I mean, Bamber definitely has his accolades, but man, you gotta be strategic when passing somebody as skilled as Castor Neves. But that's no slight to Bamber. I mean, the guy has been around for quite some time, and well, let's just say he's done this. He's a champ. So, alrighty, so looks like Owen has ordered the pizza. Well, sir, you enjoy your pizza and beer, man, and enjoy every moment of it because hey, it's the weekend. Got to enjoy the weekend while you can. The week will be here way too fast. So, alrighty. So with that said, back into turn one, and looks like we got ourselves a little bit of a commercial break as we continue to follow Castor Neves in that pretty strong performance there. So as I get ready to roll through the field, definitely got to ask a quick question for you. So when we talk about these cars and these particular fields, how are you feeling when it comes to? How do you feel when you think of the hours that goes into this? I mean, personally, because I'll tell you how I would feel at this stage of the race. You're the driver in this car right now. You're battling. However, you see all these cautions. Track can get a little slick. It's a hot track. I mean, we've been racing for almost 12 hours now. We're almost at the halfway point. How are you feeling right now behind the wheel of one of these cars? Are you feeling, hey, I got the confidence. I'm good. I'm going to make every pass I possibly can and drive this car to the bone? Or am I going to be steady? Because if I do slip up and make a mistake, that could ruin it for the entire team.
I think I'd be more cautious, but then again, I'm a very cautious person anyway, so.
This is true.
But, I mean, obviously, I know this is a race, and this is what, they're supposed to be doing, so I don't know. I think I would be in the in-between of both of them, like, doing the best that I can, but also taking it, cautiously as well, so that I don't ruin it for me or for my other drivers.
No, that's true. I mean, talking about Formula One here real fast, Verstappen, youngster. This guy is the real deal. And it's crazy to think that this young man actually, at COTA a couple years ago, at Circuit of the Americas, his crew chief actually told him to back off because he was racing really, really hard, getting into the final stages of the race. And they told him, hey, you need to let up. You're going to wreck that car. And a young Max Verstappen, he is now the champion, by the way. Controversial race last year. But he turned around and told his crew chief, I didn't come all the way over here to get fourth place. Mm-hmm. What do you really say to that? He's a competitor. I mean, are you going to get mad at the young man? You know what I mean, right?
Well, what, you said he won, or no?
He won the championship this year, not that year.
Oh, well, then that year, then yeah. I don't know. That would have been hard, because I'd be like, okay, like, you're done.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
But at the same time, like, I totally get him. That's the the competitor inside of him, and, it's all or nothing, basically. But still, it's just like what did you call him? Crew chief. Crew chief should, he obviously knows, too, what's best for you and the car, so, he should have listened.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So, looks like Owen has a question here. He said he told the driver to deliver the pizza to the address and address him as the tennis guy. I love it. Well, hey, gotta love some tennis. But yeah, so going to your question here. He says, I know this is a question that gets asked every year, but has any driver completed the full 24 hours? That's a hell of a question, Owen. And honestly, man, I don't ever believe that a driver has actually competed in all 24 hours of the race. I do think that there was a couple times where they attempted and got very close to it, but I think because of safety is why we have all these stints. I could be 100% wrong, but I'm just being straight up honest. I don't really know. Matt Owens would know that off the top of his head, but of course he's he's got more knowledge than me on that for sure. But I do believe that a couple drivers have actually, in the earlier stages of this race and like Le Mans, have really tried to push it as many hours as possible. And I'm sure we've had some high numbers. However, I'm not quite sure a driver's actually made all 24 hours. And if they have, my goodness, that's they're the steal. Yeah, we need the Couch Crew Chief, absolutely. Because, Couch Crew Chief, man, that guy is the real deal. It was a lot of fun having him on last year. My goodness, we were on the craziest time. My goodness. That was 12-3 for me and 3-6 for him. My goodness, what a journey. But yeah, he would know off the top of his head. But here we go back into green here. And let's roll on into, let's see here. Get back to green. And looks like we have, oops. Let's get us back. There we go. Alrighty, so we are now, we never went from anything from green. But Gaston was still out front. Got a nice little gap. But they have bridged that gap. Look at this. The DPI field has actually opened the gap. And as you can see here, they're actually showing, and this is what you love to see. These drivers, these crews, you're seeing them. Look at this. This driver with a helmet on and a blanket pulled over him. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it. So that's awesome. That is awesome. And certainly a wonderful bed that this driver has made. Looks like on top of a cooler, a styrofoam cooler, and a bench. Man,
it seriously is true what you said. He said they just have to find a little spot that they can get comfortable in and fall asleep.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see here. Oh, it said, as of for right now, you know how it usually goes from the overnight. We don't get a whole crap load of listeners. Last year, we may have had one or two with Matt Owens. With Matt White, myself, and Couch Crew Chief. But, this year, I guess, roll on into the 10 o'clock hour for us over here and the 1 o'clock hour over there on the East Coast. But, hoping to gain some more listeners here. But he says, let's see here, this driver is bringing up a whole new meaning to the definition of luxury car. Absolutely. Yeah. So as you can see here, man, look at this. Here we go back to the So we're in the GTDP. And it looks like that 14 and the 9. Nice little battle out front. Also, the 62 headed up there, Pierre Goody. Rolling it into this little bus stop turn. We actually have 3 drivers in this category hauling ass. I mean, there's no other way to put this. Incredibly great driving brilliance here from these 2 and from these 3 in this class. Kind of gets neck and neck as we head on back to the DPI. And well, here we go again. Castro and Nevis out front. However, we do see some traffic. And they're using the traffic to their advantage as they both pass the left traffic here, and Bamber right back on Helio Castro Nevis. My goodness, what a race we have here, heading on into the back straight. Here we go, Castro Nevis heading to the back straight, moving up and around into that trial. Sorry, not the back straight, into the trial, and Bamber right on his rear end. He goes to the inside. Castro Nevis blocks to the inside, comes on down, and takes the inside, cuts through that first turn, and it looks like he is nice and healthy. So awesome, isn't it? We have Castro Nevis looking good, staying smooth, and Bamber right behind him. We have ourselves quite the battle for first place. So certainly looking good right now out front. Castro Nevis is driving pretty well out front. Here we go yet again. Bamber looks to the inside. He may have him, and he does. He does. Bamber right around the outside, and no, he will not be able to close the gap. And we have Castro Nevis right out front. We have quite the battle for first place. Bamber looks like he's going underneath Castro Nevis. Right out front, staying right in front of that 2. And my goodness, we have ourselves a good one. These two are going head to head. And this is what you love to see. Castro Nevis making it a solid run out front as he is just blocking off pretty much everything here. And here we go. So we got ourselves quite the battle for first place here. Not just of the DPIs, but of the entire race. So Castro Nevis out front. And we have yet another lap car, a little lap traffic here. That pushes that number 2 of Bamber to the outside. And here we go back into that first turn. Castro Nevis still leading, looking good out front. And looks like we may have a little bit of a calm down at the moment. Bamber doesn't look like he's pulling anything at the moment. He's just staying right on him. And up there he goes to the outside yet again. How about this? How about these two going at it?
It's kind of funny. I don't know why I find it funny. I think it's just because, they're like, no, I'm going to be first. No, I'm going to be first.
Well, it's happening because there he goes. Bamber makes the pass to the outside and overtakes Castro Nevis. And would you look at that, the number 2 of Bamber will go to the outside. And what a job, man. Castro Nevis is not the easiest guy to pass. And what a job by this dude, man. And here we go out front. Bamber, man, what a job, man. Earl Bamber looking good in that Cadillac, man. Oh my gosh, that is some great driving. And now we have the Cadillac pulling away from Helio. Oh my goodness. This is quite the battle we had here. I'm kind of in awe. I really didn't think Castro Nevis would, I mean, don't get me wrong, Bamber earned every bit of that. But I will say that Castro Nevis, man, he got overtaken. And that's just one of those chalk it up as a loss as we head to the pits. And as we head to the pits here, COO Barkin back in the chat room says, I'm shocked NBC is carrying this one on a linear network for the whole 24 hours. Yeah, I don't know who's carrying this in Canada. But as a blind person, y'all are 1,000 times better anyway, so I don't really even care. We thank you so much for tuning in, of course, Owen. And hey, man, we're getting closer to that tennis max, but we're happy to have you with us here tonight. And man, looking forward to calling the rest of this thing, man. This is great. So as we're heading out of the pits, we can catch our breath. What a battle, right? We're seeing here.
Yeah. It is crazy.
I love that, y'all. I loved her brief reaction there. So here we go, you guys. Heading back out. Here we go, back into that turn 1. And loosening up those tires. Kind of funny. Cecilia did ask me a while back in a race that we formerly seen, and she asked me why they're wobbling back and forth.
Well, it's because they were all doing it. Like, it seemed like they all went for a pit stop, and then they all went back on the racetrack, and there was a good line of them. So yeah, I'm like, what the frick are they doing?
No, right? I used to ask the same question watching NASCAR when I was younger, but they're breaking in those tires and getting them going. And all right, here we go, back out of the pits. Castro Nevis actually beats out that number 2, and Castro Nevis is back in this lead. And here we go. We have here Erickson. Oh no, and we have ourselves yet great, wonderful. I'll tell you what. We just got back to action, and we didn't quite see. The camera caught it kind of late. We are at a commercial break for the race itself, but let's take a look and see what we got going on here and who that was. Man, that was a blink of an eye right there. So I'll tell you, absolutely. Well, thanks for tuning in. Like once again, Owen, you're awesome, and I'm looking forward to some NASCAR. You know me. I love me some NASCAR. So certainly excited to jump on this year. Hopefully, we'll see with Matt Owens or somebody, Seth. Really, anybody. We have an amazing team in our family of networks here, and I'm really looking forward to this year coming up. So. Okay, well, looks like we have ourselves the races looking pretty strong. So we're at lap 350, by the way, for anybody out there. It's that's where I believe the DPI is. So here we go, and we're oh my goodness, just catching our breath from the action. So we'll get that replay for you guys, and we'll get you going as soon as we can get some kind of replay. Because I'd love to know what happened. We just happened to see that spin out at the tail end of it. And, yeah, well, a little Kyle Larson talk here in the chat room. And, yeah, you know, everybody screws up, personally. I got to tell you, seeing Kyle Larson come back last year, and make quite the run, you know... As Latinos over here, I mean, of course, it sucks when you have anything of any type of racism. Us, of course, I mean, we're the furthest we can possibly get from any type of racism, and it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. But I do gotta tell you, Kyle Larson for anybody out there who doesn't know really fast, of course, in the chat room here, Owen Parkin brought up Kyle Larson. Long story short, when we went to COVID, he was driving in the simulators when we were doing like video game style racing, and unfortunately, he said he slipped out a racial slur that was heard over the Twitch broadcast, I believe, or whatever it was. Then unfortunately, he goes, so here, hold on really fast, hold that thought. So, looks like here we go in turn 1.
Oh.
In turn 1, it looks like, turn 2, I believe, a little snake here. So this looks like let's see, looks like, you know what a save by that 11. So, no, it was a 30, what is that, the 11? Let's take a look here real fast.
Like 2 and...
Well, it's definitely the 2 that was caught in this. So, looks like we have... It's a simple slide out, nothing crazy, a little loss of grip. Both drivers are just fine. They're back in it. And that was looks like the 31. Yes, it was indeed the 31 here. A little bit of a slide out, a little slip and slide there through that turn. However, way to keep the composure there, way to keep it on. And, looks like they're doing just fine now. Back in this race, but definitely let up some spots. And, yeah, I guess the total bummer. But really fast, Kyle Larson slipping up, making the comment. And it's just unfortunate. But I believe everyone deserves another chance. And maybe that's not who he really is. All I know is, he's a heck of a driver. I definitely don't condone that whatsoever. I really hope he's not that way. But, he seems as if he's truly sorry. And honestly, Owen, I just feel like he served his time out of NASCAR. They threw him out. And he came back, and he seemed like he changed up. Or maybe, who knows, he just may have let a word slip that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But what I do know is he came back, great attitude, and the guy's a champion now. He just won the NASCAR championship in November. So congratulations to him.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's just...
I believe in second chances. I mean, as long as he doesn't do it again or, have anything else against anyone.
Absolutely.
Then, he should be fine. I mean, nobody's perfect. So, I mean, we all have our little slip-ups, not, some worse than others. But, I don't know. I say give him a second chance and see how that goes.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with it. I'm also there with you with second chances. So, alrighty. So, here we go. My goodness, we're rolling back to this Rolex 24. Oh my goodness, 12 hours and 25 minutes to go, and here we are following along with that 57 now, riding along here, looking pretty sharp. this little car has had quite the day, actually, staying near and dear to the front. And, Owen Parkin says here, that's exactly how I feel. I want to get behind him again, but I'm just afraid that he will do that. So I'm going to throw all that baggage on his past actions, and I'm totally I understand that. And it sucks because once that happens, I kind of feel like everyone's just waiting for you to mess up again, and any little thing you do, they're gonna crucify you.
Yeah, and it sucks too, just because he's in the spotlight, you know. Otherwise, if he was a regular, person, it wouldn't have been broadcasted everywhere. So, but I mean, they do have to realize too, though, that they are in the spotlight, so they seriously need to watch what they say or do, because, of course, everybody's watching them.
Absolutely. I mean, we had the issue with Damon Arnett, unfortunately, and I wish that young man all the best. Same thing for Kyle Larson. I wish that young man all the best. And you know what? He looks like he made some changes, and he came back, and he's good. I wish everybody that's made mistakes all the best, and all you can do is pray for them and hope that they can learn from their problem.
Yeah,
their
exactly.
Issues, so.
And people just need to forgive their past. I mean, we all have a past, so,
I'm totally.
You live and learn.
You live and learn. That's the truth, man. So, back to the race here. Looks like that number 10 of Rossi is now out front in that DPI class. How do you like that? The number 10 moving out front. Man, that just happened out of nowhere. But, yeah, looking good here. By the way, the team of the 10, man, this right here is something. This 10 car, the Acura DPI of Konica Milata Acura, man, we have the team of Ricky Taylor, of course, Felipe Albuquerque, we have Alexander Rossi, of course, a IndyCar driver, and Will Stevens from the UK. So, just wonderful driving from each of these gentlemen here today. And it's no wonder that 10 car is out front right now, looking good. Not quite sure what the heck happened to that 60, to that Acura, but we'll find out momentarily. However, as Nunez will overtake for fourth place right now in that 31, looking pretty solid. I think, of course, they had a little shuffle there, getting shuffled backwards, but that 31, that Winley Engineering Racing, and that Cadillac DPI. So, certainly, and there's only 3 drivers in this, by the way, you guys. So, just in case you're wondering, the 31 only has 3 drivers. So, very skilled drivers that are willing to go the distance. So, Owen jumps back in the chat room. Says, I'm being honest with you, Kyle Larson and Darrell Walsh Jr. are probably the 2 most talented drivers in the sport right now. And I agree, Bubba. Bubba just doesn't have the car to work with. And I couldn't agree more, Owen. Bubba Wallace is a driver who come on now, man. If Richard Petty's going to help him out, the king doesn't just help people out. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he wouldn't. But I'm just saying, the king, man. I mean, if you can impress him, he definitely, Bubba Wallace is very talented, and I'm very excited to see what he can do. And Kyle Larson, man, oh my goodness, we've seen it. We've seen what he can do. He's like the king of the 2-mile tracks, too. I mean, this guy is incredible. Both these drivers are very talented, and I just hope that they just say all the right things and do all the right things when the spotlight is, well, of course, it's always on them, but especially in that moment, and you know what? They'll be all right, right?
Yeah. I mean, because, the cameras are always, the cameras are always on them when they're in season and out of season.
Absolutely. And it feels like every time we turn towards the computer, we look back at the screen and another caution. I believe this is caution number 11 of the day. Oh my goodness. We have a car sitting in the grass, and there's a tire just sitting there. So
I think that's why they don't let the drivers go for the full 24 hours, because I think you would have a lot more accidents than what we... I mean, yes, this is still a lot. It seems like it's happening every 1 second or 2, but I think you would have a lot more, probably not even any drivers on the road or on the track.
Yeah, we're headed there.
24. I mean, if they go for 24 hours.
Well, it looks like we might be headed here. So I feel like this is the fourth caution since I've joined you. I think so, Owen. I really do think that we are about we've got to be hitting 3 or 4. I think it is the 4th, but my goodness, we are looking, and absolutely no, yeah, Matthew Owen predicted 12. I do think this is the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So it may be, I'll take a look right now at that. But man, we are getting so many cautions. I mean, my goodness, you guys, this has been quite the, my goodness, I don't even understand what's going on right now. But I do know that we could be on a record pace. I'm not sure how many cautions we're ever. Once again, if Cal's crew chief was here, he'd definitely be answering this question for us. But man, if we're competing for records here, we're definitely not competing for most laps this year due to all these cautions, but we could be competing for most cautions, so we will find out. But, however, we are looking pretty strong right now at this field. Let's go ahead and head on in to the IMSA Racing app because this app is awesome. I definitely enjoy this app. So, taking a look here at everything as it goes, we have quite the race in our hands, and personally, I want more. I mean, I really feel like if this race were to stay green, there's a big possibility we may see some drivers pull away. It's not due to lack of talent from the other cars, the drivers, but I do feel that some of these machines are just better built. I'm a firm believer. I mean, you see, like Formula One doesn't even try and hide it. You know, you have the Silver Arrows who dominate every freaking race. You know, Ferrari, let's not talk about Ferrari. I don't want to even. That's my team. Ford. I don't want to talk about Ferrari. Anyway, so we're back to the race. And looks like here we've got, so the safety team is out there taking a look. Not quite sure what happened again because the camera seemed to caught the end of what happened as it panned on over. So we're going to take a look here. So as of right now, the current leaders, we have Alexander Rossi in the DPI, Fernando Habsburg in the number 8 Tower Motorsports. In LMP3, we have Kay Van Berlo of Riley Motorsports in the GTD Pro, Jack Hacksworth. And in that GTD, the 57 of Philip Ellis in the Windward Racing 57. So those are the current leaders of all 5 fields going at it right now. Man, this has been a crazy race. So, what's that?
I have a question.
Go shoot on it. We have an hour and a half coming up.
Anyway,
So.
when they're in caution and the cars up front, that yellow flashing light car, they can't. So do they have to slow down and they can't pass each other up then to try to get ahead?
Okay, now that is a great question. Now, when the pace car, the car with the yellow flashy light on top, is out front, the cars that are on the lead lap must stay behind that car at all times. Now, in certain situations, depending on car being a lap down or just the circumstance of where they were when the caution happened, cars can actually surpass that car, the pace car, in speed around the track to catch up to the rear end of the field and gain a lap back. In certain circumstances, they can actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's not always the case, and you get stuck there. But there are certain circumstances where, it looks like the driver is out, thankfully, and looks like everything's all right. So, man, so great question, by the way. Certainly. Oh, and as you can see here, the recliners, the blankets, and the pillows are being strongly used through the night at Daytona. Where it is currently, let's get back to the, before we go ahead and respond to Owen here in the chat room, but currently, local time, Daytona Beach. Oh boy. We've dropped 1 full degree to 36 degrees now at Daytona.
That is way too cold.
Just so you know, by 2 a.m. coming up in just a half an hour, 35 degrees. By 4 a.m. local time, it'll be 34 degrees. By 5 a.m. all the way to 7 a.m., it'll be 33 degrees, and it won't start going up until 8 a.m. when we reach a whopping 34 degrees and start to go up from there. Yeah, it's a cold day in Florida.
Yeah, that's way too cold. No, thank you.
Man, how about this, the rubber hitting the road, and this one is a little different here. So, Owen says here, that's what I don't like about Formula One. You can basically predict the winner of every race. No, and I'm totally with that. You know, that's not. This is what I know, and we're gonna definitely get into some Formula One this year. But man, Formula One races bum me out sometimes because some cars are just, you know where the money goes. The teams with the most amount of money, they make the best car. So it's literally down to like 2 or 3 max drivers every race. That's like a waste. Like seriously, it's frustrating knowing that if you like a driver who's a part of a team that isn't that great, you better cheer on 8th or 9th place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's kind of messed up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot like European soccer, where teams like Barcelona or Real Madrid or Manchester United, they have the most money. So what do? They buy the best players.
Mm-hmm.
So every season you can almost guess who's going to freaking win.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be between like 2 or 3 teams. And the other 18 or 17, it's like good luck playing for third. You know what I mean? It's frustrating.
Yeah, that'd be boring.
It really is, and it bothers me. So he says that's why I'm such a big NASCAR IndyCar guy. It's way more unpredictable. And no, and that's true. In NASCAR and IndyCar, you honestly, almost every one of those cars that pull out of the pits that day have a chance of winning, and it's a legitimate chance. That's why it's fun to watch. It really is. So I'm right there with you, Owen. He says, so Larry and Cecilia, I must know, who are your favorite sports teams outside of racing? Oh boy. Well, you asked. Well, for the first time since 2003, I can actually say I'm proud of our Raiders. Yep, we said it. Raider fans all day. Very happy of that last game versus the Chargers. And you know what? Solid game versus Cincinnati in the wild card. Even though it was a loss, it was a great effort, and that's all we want. So, of course, the Lake Show. Those Lakers were Southern Californians. The Los Angeles Galaxy soccer. Gotta love our MLS team over here. We also, the Anaheim Ducks. Big Ducks fans. They started out pretty good. Well, they had a pretty good little stint, but they nosedived recently, and the Kings are playing pretty darn well. So, yeah, there we go there. So, as you can see, we're pretty much all Southern California. Of course, Dodgers, Angels, got to show some love to the Padres as well when it comes to baseball. And, actually, we're heading down right now. Pit lane is getting mighty busy as we are currently in caution, and a lot of cars have chosen to pit as they're just cruising on down right now. Looking pretty good. Heading on here, and the pits are busy. So, yeah. So those are pretty much all of our teams. And, I don't know if we have any more. Let's see here.
I don't think so. I think those are the only ones.
Yeah, we think we got a good amount. And, of course, our drivers, I mean, I've always been a Jeff Gordon fan. But I have loved and respected so many drivers. Tony Stewart was that no-nonsense monster. I loved it. He was very confident, very, very, very competitive driver, good old Smoke. It was great watching him race growing up. Dale Jr., of course, I got to catch the tail end of the Intimidator's career, the late, great Dale Earnhardt Sr. So sports are all over the place. We're also the Force family. Gotta love the Force family in the NHRA. Love them. So happy 2 years ago for our 6-year anniversary on air for IE Sports Radio. I got to interview John Force. That was one of the coolest things I've ever done, was interviewing him. And on top of that, also a couple years before that, interviewing Mario Andretti on the Extra Mile here on IE Sports Radio. So really cool stuff there. So yeah, I guess lots of great stuff. I know I'm going off on different things here, but Owen says, Raptors, Maple Leafs, Packers, okay, Toronto FC, and the Red Sox are my teams. Well, certainly some great teams you got there, Owen. The Raptors, hey, you guys got to celebrate a championship. That was pretty awesome. Hashtag We the North. Maple Leafs certainly have, this team, it's like, it's like always so close yet so far. I want to see this team break out and make it happen. I'd love to see a Maple Leafs Cup. I'd love to see that Stanley Cup head on over to Toronto. That'd be great. Toronto FC, you guys and the Seattle Sounders have had your run-ins, haven't you? Man, those have been some great games. And certainly a great team year in and year out for you guys. And the Red Sox. Oh, my goodness. What do you say about the Red Sox being the strong powerhouse that they've been? Congratulations to David Ortiz getting in the Hall of Fame. First ballot Hall of Fame, man. What a job. What a job by him his entire career. And, he made things happen. So congratulations to him. And great teams, man. Of course, the Packers, gotta leave football for last year. Oh, those Packers. I personally thought they were better than the Niners the night they played, but unfortunately, the Niners just outdid them. I had the Packers winning that game, and I'm not quite sure what happened. The Niners they played better when it mattered most, and that was a tough one. So, didn't Matthew and Seth get to interview Mario Andretti a few years ago as well when they were doing the Sports Books? I'm not sure. They may have. I'm not quite sure if they did or not, but I know that Daryl, Michael, and myself got to interview Mario Andretti before Le Mans a couple years ago. Before Le Mans. I'm sorry. Before, oh my goodness, wow. I'm in IMSA mode right now. Oh, and my apologies. We got to interview him before the Indy 500, of course, and if we're talking Formula One, we're talking Monaco, of course, for Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, the Indy 500, we got to interview him. That was so awesome, and it was just an honor to interview that man. It was hard to. That was my first ever big interview, so I totally fanboyed it. I really thought that I was gonna be a little more professional in the early going, but man, it was hard to not fanboy at the start. But yeah, awesome stuff with him. But yeah, so I think we all did think the Packers were going to win that game. I honestly have no idea how the Rams or the Niners are even in this game tomorrow. I really have no idea. I couldn't tell you. All I know is, in my opinion, the Chiefs are the better team between all four of these teams, and I think they're going to win it. But if they don't, I guess it's been that kind of year. So, here we go. Back to the race. Heading down, getting out of the pits here, it looks like. Coming up on just 12 hours. My goodness, can you believe this, babe? We are 5 minutes away from the halfway point. Can you believe that?
Not really.
Crazy, right? We've been watching this race all day long. You were still asleep when it started.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the weekend, no judgment. Okay. My woman works hard throughout the week. We both do, and I just happen to be an early riser. And I had some primetime face-offs this morning on IE Sports Radio. And yeah, I didn't bother to wake her up, let her sleep in a little bit. But yeah, this race started. We were like an hour in, I think, around there when you woke up this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this, we're barely at the halfway point. So yeah, me too, Owen. I hope you get your pizza, man. You're gonna need it. you got the rest of this stint to go with us, and you got a great tennis match coming up in just 2 hours time. So, all right. So here we go again. Back around the track. We have had more cautions in this race than I have seen in the last couple of years from any Rolex 24. And here we go, back to the green flag, and here we go. So into turn one, Westbrook of that number 5 out in front. Rockefeller right behind him, that 48. Castro Neves in the 60, and the 1 Bourdais has taken back the chair in this race. And boy, oh boy, we have ourselves a battle out front in the DPI class. My goodness, what a race it is. Westbrook out front and looking strong. Yes, he's looking good. So here we go. Westbrook out in front. Rockefeller right behind him. And it looks like here, Bourdais looking strong right outside of him here. So, okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them together. The number 5 of Westbrook out front, leading the charge. Looking like he's got a nice little grip on this. However, Rockefeller right behind him. He's just 0.2 of a second. Coming up with the bumper, and here he comes around the outside. Here he is to make the pass, and Rockefeller will overtake. Oh my goodness. What a pass there. And my goodness, what a drive. Now, my apologies, you guys. That was Castro Neves over Bourdais. My apologies. Sorry, I got a little caught up in the first second. But Castro Neves overtaking Sebastian Bourdais in that 60, that number 60 Acura is looking strong. And Castro Neves, this guy is coming. So, the gap has widened. Westbrook has opened up a 1.2 second interval over Rockefeller, that number 48 of Rockefeller. And Castro Neves has moved around the traffic of the, looks like that's a GTD car. So it looks like here we have Castro Neves just moving up, man. Moving on up in that beautiful, by the way, absolutely beautiful, number 60. Got that pink going on in that Acura, and the camera is just all over Castro Neves right now. You are not going to catch this on another driver. Castro Neves continues to march on here as he will try to close that gap to Rockefeller. That 48 has also had quite the day. The team of, let's see here. Yeah, I'm with you there. And I didn't know Helio Castro Neves could still win races. Well, after that 500 last year, man, I didn't know if he was going to call it a career or not. I mean, he's done something that only a few men have done, and he's still in a car, and he's still out there rocking and rolling. So look at him go. Here he goes here into the banks here of Daytona. And boy, oh boy, he is on one. He's gaining a head full of steam, lots of momentum, and Helio Castro Neves, ladies and gentlemen, coming. He is coming, and he is moving as we get through the tri-oval. Still a little bit of a gap, 2.3 seconds behind Rockefeller. Behind Westbrook, but he is marching on. He's closing the gap about a second behind that 48 of Rockefeller, of course, the German driver here for that number 48 Ally Cadillac Racing car here. So that DPI looking strong. He says here is NBC being with Castro Neves like they are with Jimmy Johnson. Oh boy, let me talk about that one real fast. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, yeah. Let me explain something here a little bit. When we talk about NASCAR and Jimmy Johnson, well, NBC, for some reason, Jimmy Johnson could be in 15th place, and the camera will be on that 48 of Jimmy Johnson. It's like, Are you guys in love with him or something? It's true. It's so true. It's okay, guys. You want to go to first place, So anyway, here we are, and it is exactly halfway over. We're at the 12-hour mark as we see that 48 of Rockefeller just continuing to hold his ground. But we are now officially halfway, right now, officially halfway through this race. Oh my gosh, it has been a great first half, and here we are now into the second half, and we are wasting no time. Albuquerque actually coming on up and moving in that number 10, and here we go, another overtake. How about that? Albuquerque over Sebastian Bourdais, and it looks like they're going to cut to another commercial here, but that 5 is looking strong right now on that DPI. Yeah, you got quite the point there, Owen Parkin. So I swear NBC has some sort of romance relationship with Jimmy Johnson. No, they do. They do. I mean, seriously, Jimmy Johnson could be rolling around in 28th place, and it's like, there's a top 5 you should be on. They're like, anyway, you guys, Jimmy Johnson today. It's like, Jimmy Johnson isn't leading the race. I'm so serious. It's hilarious.
Maybe he's paying them extra. No, I'm just kidding.
God, something's happening. God, something. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jimmy Johnson's cool. He's not my driver. I'm a Gordon guy myself. But my gosh, I mean, okay, you guys want to watch the race, or you're gonna just pan on Jimmy Johnson the whole race? It's like, all right, you guys, so we're going to go back to the top 5 here. And it looks like we have ourselves Keselowski out front, looking strong in that number 2. And here we go, he's overtaking. Oh, my goodness. Martin Truex Jr. has overtaken the lead. And anyway, so back to 27th place. Jimmy Johnson is looking smooth right now on that 48, just cruising down the... What? What? It's hilarious how it works right now with Jimmy Johnson and NBC. I will vouch for that though. It's pretty funny when somebody else realizes it. It's like, yeah, okay, enough Jimmy, guys. But anyway, so alrighty, so we are back to some racing, and overall, yeah, it is something. We're back. We have the camera. Owen, we do have the camera on right now. So unfortunately, we got the camera angle going with the commercial to the left of it. But what do you do? Regardless, here we go again. This is quite the race between these DPIs. Oddly enough, this is not much of a race between the other classes. It's just not. Realistically, we have ourselves a DPI battle, and that's kind of where it ends. I really thought we'd have more of a tougher race with some of these here. With some of these classes, but unfortunately, we're not getting much out of everybody else. So, okay, well, let's rock and roll and see what we've got going on here. And it looks like we are heading back to the DPI, because of course, why not, right? The DPIs have been showing us lots and lots of great racing. So here we go back to the full screen, thankfully. And it looks like we got the 5 and the 60 going head to head. Oh my goodness. Castro Neves in that 60. They're racing Acura. Oh my goodness. He is looking strong. Just trailing that 5 of Richard Westbrook. Of course, Westbrook out of the UK. Looking good. And, well, Castro Neves has now overtaken Rockefeller because he's just moving on. How about Castro Neves? He got down to about 5th place right now, and he's marked his way all the way back up to 2nd yet again.
I mean, that's awesome. It goes to show you on his driving skills.
If he wins it, I'm telling you, he'll be the first man to ever win 5 Indy 500s this year if he gets it done.
Dang.
he's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
The Brasileño, of course, Castro Neves, and he is driving like a man possessed. Look at this, just marching through the field. You better give them a phone call, Owen. You need your pizza. I'd be calling right now. Get that pizza there in the chat room. But yeah, so I'll tell you right now, it's been quite the battle here in this race. Overall, I gotta say that Castro Neves has really just proven himself to be in a class of his own. He is chasing down Westbrook, ladies and gentlemen. He has now gotten my goodness. He has gotten the lead down to 0.4 of a second.
Wow.
He was just back by about 5 seconds. And the man has overtaken 3 other drivers. Here he comes. But wait a minute, Albuquerque. Absolutely. Look at this. The Portuguese of Albuquerque. He is heading up and around the bend. Look at this. He is moving in that number 10. That 10, by the way, the 10 DPI is looking solid. This DPI has actually been one of the front runners the entire race. And, yeah, I mean, but you look at this team, too. Ricky Taylor, Rossi, Stevens, and Albuquerque. I mean, you see solid racing from all 4 of these drivers. So, yes, I think we all know that number 10 DPI was going to be strong. And it's moving. So, it's also overtaking. He's pretty much 4 seconds back here. And he's making leaps and strides and gains. Castro Neves moving through traffic. He is now getting close to 0.3 of a second. This is exciting racing. We have Castro Neves just moving forward. He's chasing down Westbrook from afar. Can he chase down Westbrook? We shall see as he goes in here into this turn 1. Makes it nice and smooth. Found his line, and this man is just moving. He is now down to, well, actually, he's got a little bit of time chopped off. He is now almost a full 3 seconds back. So a little time lost there. Westbrook pulling away, actually. But this is no knock on Castro Neves. That 5 is a solid car. Like I said, we've seen it all day long. The JDC Miller Motorsports Cadillac, that DPI. Of course, same team, Ben Keating of the U.S. We have Duval of France, Richard Westbrook of the U.K., and Voidier, I believe.
Just went around.
Oh, looks like we're passing here yet again. Back to the DPIs. They are passing traffic. Oh my goodness, this is exciting, you guys. That 5, look at this 5 of Westbrook. He is finding his way, bobbing and weaving through traffic like a boxer. This guy is moving. How about this race?
Man, they hustling.
They are. I'm really, really, really excited. By the way, Owen Parkin, you need, yeah. Hey, you know what? You need to let this guy know. Just give him my pizza and leave, okay? So, oh boy, another half an hour. Oh no, yeah. I'm sorry, Owen. I hope they bring it faster than that, man. I know you need your pizza. I would definitely need my pizza as well. So, stay on him. That's all I can say. Stay on him, man. Just kidding. Hopefully it gets there sooner than later, though, man. So, here we go. Westbrook looking strong here out front. Really what's doing it right now, really what's doing it is we're seeing Westbrook we're seeing Castro Neves hit all this lapped traffic, and really it's just the main concept of this race, I really do feel, is, and this is going to sound, I guess, maybe amateur, but it's really just avoid the traffic.
Yeah.
It's like a moving game of Frogger. I mean, really, like, I mean, you know, because you have to be able to bob and weave outside of these cars, and it's like, damn it, get out of my way, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy, you know, and it's insane to think that. And if you think about some of these slower classes, they're thinking the same thing too, like, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me, you know what I mean? So, here we go again, okay, here we go, the 60 of Castro Neves. He has closed the gap now to yet another 2. He's down to 2.8 seconds back. Rockefeller in that 48 has now drifted 3, almost, well, getting close to 3.5 seconds back. And Sebastian Bourdais in that number 1 has dropped now back to about 5 seconds. So, here we go. Let's get it. Okay, so let's take a little bit. Oh, we got Castro Neves. Lap traffic, of course, trying to find his way around that GTD. Not working out for him the best there, but he's trying his best to get around him. So here we go. Let's take a quick look here at the LMP2 class. VK, that 29 of VK looking pretty darn good right now. I'll tell you, that 29 has actually been pretty solid all day long. The jumbo car looking good. I look like a bumblebee with a flag on it. But, yeah, the Racing Team Netherlands looking good out there. The Orica, this team has looked great. Some Netherlands drivers. We got one from the U.S. from Murray. We got VK, Vandergaard, and Fritz Van Erd. This team has looked good all day long. They're leading by just 0.4 of a second over Award in that 81 Oreca as well. Dragon Speed. Gotta love some Dragon Speed USA. So that, of course, right now, looking at least the top 2 here of the LMP1 class. So here we go, and we're cutting to yet another commercial. Whoop-dee-doo. So anyway, Owen says here, and of course, deal with my stupid comments. Seth sure loves those. I'm sure you found out why. Absolutely. So anyway, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. We'll get right back to the action right after this. You're listening to the third stint of the Rolex 24. Man, it has been fun on our family of networks. We're going to take ourselves a quick break, get some water, catch our breaths, and we'll be right back after this.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is your host, Beantown Brandon from Titletown Sports, right here on the greatest, and I mean the absolute greatest podcast team right here on IESR Sports Radio. That's right. Come join me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live from the greatest city on earth, Boston, Massachusetts, here to talk about all things Boston sports. That is right, baby. We get in to talk about some Boston Red Sox, Boston Celtics, Boston Bruins, New England Revolutions, Boston College Eagles, and of course, your host's favorite team of all, the New England Patriots, baby. Woo! That's right. Come join your host, Beantown Brandon, and let's relive all the glory days of the past, all the great championships that we've endured, all the horrible, heartbreaking losses that even yours truly chooses to forget. So you know what? Grab an ice-cold Samuel Adams. Come with me to Faneuil Hall as we go pick up that lobster roll we've been craving earlier in the week. Let's get some clam chowder, warm ourselves up to some Titletown Sports. Any way you like it, we're going to have a blast. So you know what to do. Join your host, Beantown Brandon, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, coming at you from the home and the heartland of Boston, Massachusetts, to represent your New England and Boston sports. Weekly, right here on Titletown Sports, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is Boston sports. See you there.
Puget Sound to the rushing waters of the Columbia River, stretching across the Great Cascades, and on IE Sports Radio lives the Northwest Territory Sports Show, hosted by me, Brad Buckingham. On this show, I cover all the great collegiate and professional sport teams that we have here in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Mariners, Sounders, and even the Seattle Kraken. But I can't forget all of that is good in Oregon either. I got the Trailblazers, the Oregon Ducks, the Beavers, even the Timbers, and much, much more. You can listen to the show every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, noon to 1 p.m. Pacific on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Oh my goodness. We are just past the halfway mark of the Rolex 24, the 2022 Rolex 24, or of course, the 60th running, if you will, of the Rolex 24. Big ups to Taryn Rodriguez in the chat room. Just called it, was a part of a Long Beach State men's volleyball team, one of the best teams in the country, his alma mater. So he was there tonight as media doing his thing. Big ups to him, just heading on his way home right now. And yeah, Owen Park in the Northwest Territory Sports. So yes, he does cover British Columbia and the Canucks, I believe, and I think he's covering the Oilers as well up there. So yeah, he is pretty awesome. Make sure to check him out. He's coming up tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. So check him out. I mean, he's definitely a pretty solid dude. So like I said, we love our neighbors to the north in Canada. So he's an American, but hey, he definitely shows love, and he definitely loves his hockey. So make sure to check him out. Great stuff as always. Yeah, lots of drops here I got to send to the guys at USRN. We're going to have a few more breaks before we're out of here for tonight in this final hour coming up. Man, that went by fast. We're coming up. Can you believe that we're 2 hours in almost? That went kind of fast, didn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
But, well, it's all good. Oh, and hey, you jump in there whenever you can. Podcasts, man. Catch all of our stuff right here on Spreaker.com. Make sure to jump on in here and show us some love. We definitely love to have you. Of course, in all of our chat rooms, or hey, even just that one, awesome stuff. Or check out, of course, all of our replays here. We are also on YouTube. Right here on Spreaker.com, all of our shows, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So back to the action. Here we go, man. We are have a live looking at the GTDP class. Engel in that 97. How about this? Engel looking pretty good out front. That 97 has actually been on one all day long. Pretty solid car. And more than anything, I mean, his team, of course, another very talented. I mean, they're all very talented, duh. But I'm just saying, all of these drivers in this 97, man, certainly solid drivers. And you can see why this 97 has done what it's done all day long. The WeatherTech Racing AMG drive performance, that GTD Pro looking strong, man, out front. Cooper McNeil of the U.S. We have here Mario Engel, of course, of Germany, Daniel Hugalea of Spain, España, and Jules Ghosn, I believe. I don't butcher his name, but out of France. Very solid. They're driving that Mercedes AMG GT3. So yes, do you upload your podcast to Apple Podcasts? I find this app very confusing to navigate as a well. Absolutely, this is a very fun app to use. Apple All of our shows are available on Apple. Also, check us out at www.iesportsradio.com under podcasts. You can check out all of our shows that come in there. So, great stuff. But yes, we are also on Apple. So, subscribe to us on Apple at IE Sports Radio and enjoy. We got shows coming in every day from all over the country. We have something for everybody, and we're just adding more and more shows. You love Southern California sports? We gotcha. Northern California sports? We gotcha. You love, my goodness, we're everywhere. North Carolina, well, the Carolinas, Boston, New York. We are all over the place. So make sure to check out IE Sports Radio. And, of course, we got, all of our shows dedicated to single sports. The Neutral Zone for hockey, Fast Break for basketball. My goodness, the list goes on and on and on. Actually, we're at a commercial break, so we're going to go ahead and let some of those commercials play. Once again, you're listening to IE Sports Radio right here, the third stint of the Rolex 24. Right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Are you a Minnesota sports fan? If you are, you should join me, AJ, on my Thursday night podcast called Frozen Takes with AJ on IE Sports Radio. I talk about all things Minnesota sports, from the Vikings to Lynx basketball. Every week I talk about the good and the bad of sports in the land of the frozen lakes. Join me Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for your Minnesota sports show on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Calling all Indiana sports fans, this is your podcast. Welcome to High Octane Entertainment on IE Sports Radio. Join me, Justin Lahr, as your host on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific to hear all the latest and greatest sports updates on everything from college to the pros in the great Hoosier state. No matter what, it's guaranteed to be high-octane entertainment. That's Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, everybody? This is Ben Metello, the host of the IMSA Report, right here on IE Sports Radio. I'm bringing you the latest in the Steel City, the City of Champions, from the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, as well as the college game with both Penn State and Pitt. You could join me every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, where I'll be talking about everything from the Steel City, the City of Champions, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to IE Sports Radio. How's everyone doing? Happily glad to have you. And what's that in the chat room there, Owen? Hey man, I stop the commercials when I want to stop. This is my broadcast, so you don't tell me when to stop my commercials. I stop my commercials when I want to stop them. So with that said, brother, we are rolling on in here, and you got the pizza?
Rushing waters of the Columbia
wonderful.
River, stretching across the Great Cascades, and on IE Sports Radio
Anyway,
lives
had to
the
switch out some
Northwest
laundry.
Territories.
My apologies. Had the drop there. Forgot to take off auto DJ. My apologies about that. Whew, doing a little bit of wash there, and getting some things done. So, man, it has been a good one here. So let's go ahead and roll on in here to what we got going on so far. My apologies for not hitting the auto DJ stopper. Sorry about that. So, yeah, a little blip on my end. No, you didn't get the pizza? And my bad. So, there we go. And, yeah, I got a little bit of the ad dreading me out there. Sorry about that. And, oh, no, man, you need to get back inside. Unless the dude told you he's down the street, you need to get back inside and get that pizza. So, that's all there is to it. But, yeah, this has been quite the race. And, oh, my goodness, we are in our third hour. My gosh, I can't believe it. Already our third hour. So, as we get ourselves going back into this thing, just 50 minutes to go here in this broadcast before we hand it on over to WSR back on Mixler.com. Looking forward to getting, handing off to them. It's been a great time so far, but definitely getting towards the end of our broadcast. Gotta get ourselves some sleep, get up in the morning, head to church, and enjoy our day, get our grocery shopping done. And then we got two great games coming up, and wouldn't you know it, they will be right on USRN tomorrow. Man, they got so much coverage coming up. They'll be finishing off the IMSA Rolex 24, and then we will have the two championship games, Bengals, Chiefs. That should be a fun one. And immediately following, Niners, Rams. So big ups to everybody over at USRN, WSR. Just great stuff all the way around. Let's see here. Who is hosting the broadcast on London? That's a great question. I'm not quite sure if it'll just be from the TV, like a radio, basically, like a stream, or if there will be. I do know that Josh will be back at, I believe it was 1 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Eastern, and for them, I think that's 8 or 9 in the morning, I believe, in jolly old Britain. By the way, we actually do have a little spin out here, unfortunately, and wouldn't you know it, is that 60? No, my goodness. Wow, after such a great race. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Thankfully, no damage. But took that corner a little too crazy, and unfortunately, we have ourselves... Oh boy. Unfortunately, we have ourselves a contender that might have to climb his way back up yet again. Wonderful. Well, that is absolutely that 60, that Acura. And let's see what he can do to get back up there. Okay, so getting back to the top of the DPI, Sebastian Bourdais in that 01 leads the charge. Westbrook now currently in second. We have a that number 5. And here we go again! Another one! The 60. Oh no, we may have an issue. A tire may be going down. Power steering may be an issue at this point in time. That 60 is looking real slippery. Not quite sure the issue, but we certainly have quite the problem right now with that Acura. As we can see here in the instant replay, it's a little loose. Well, actually broke a little late, was what it looked like. Took a little wide around that turn, came back on the track just in time. Regardless, though, I'm not quite sure what happened. Seems to me like kind of just maybe broke a little late. Regardless, though, the 60 could be having issues. So, yeah, that's a big possibility. What we got going on with that 60 at the moment. Looking good, though. Rolling to the back straight. Looking still fast as we pan over to that Acura. But realistically, there may be something going on with the car. Don't see anything, actually, of what may possibly be wrong. Regardless, though, that 60 is concerning. As it goes to the outside, hits a little bit of... Oh, no. Hits a little bit there of that of the curb. Regardless, nothing too out of the ordinary. But so what? It seems there may be an issue with this car, and we're going to keep a close look on it, or at least USA will, the station. So, okay. Here we go. All right, so back on over. We have here, back over to, well, continuing to stay with the DPI class. We have here that 01, looking strong, right out front at the moment. And we shall stay with this as we cut to commercial. I will be staying here with you. So, alrighty. Well, moving forward, looks like we have ourselves quite the battle so far. I'll tell you, this DPI class is a tough one this year. Usually always the best class, lots of fun to watch. But I'm not quite sure what's going on. The handling on this 60 is looking a little odd. There's a possibility we may have some issues going on here internally, but we shall see. Regardless, that 01 of Cadillac Racing, that DPI VR, looking good right now out front. Certainly a strong team, as we said earlier. Van der Zandt, Bourdais, Dixon, and Ball. A wonderful, wonderful group of drivers, and certain brilliance of whoever put this team together. But certainly a strong team of drivers here. And that number 1, or the 01 of Cadillac Racing, looking like the real deal. So will this car stay out front? we shall see. I mean, we are just under the halfway mark, so we have a very long way to go in this race. And we certainly have a... I certainly do feel this car could possibly make the distance if that 60 continues to be faulty. My personal opinion right now, the 60 looks like it's probably the best car out there. We can certainly see that there's some issues going on with it, but I feel like overall this car does look like the fastest car out there. But then again, it may just be the expertise of Castroneves at the moment. So we shall see. So okay. So with that said, we'll take a look here at what we got going on at the moment. We're riding along. I think this is the 01 with Bourdais. Looking, man, look at this. Handling these curbs very, very, very well. Yes, we are riding around with Sebastian Bourdais in that one, and man, gaining speed, certainly looking like one of the strongest cars out there, at least at the moment, and dealing with some lap traffic, but staying right on it. See, we pan on over now. Pan on over to, it looks like, oh boy, is that hey, we haven't seen this car in a while. Looks like we have here, let's see, where are we? Is that the 81, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, I think that's the Orica of Dragon Speed. Here, yes it is, the 81 Orica LMP2, the team of Pato Ward. Colton Herta, big time name in Indy. He's made a name for himself. Eric Lux, and hey, there's a Canuck, Devlin DeFrancesco. So certainly some great driving there. Our buddy Taryn chimes in. Just got home. Well, glad to have you on the broadcast, brother. Glad to have you joining us here. Glad you got home safe. And, well, you're here to join us for our last 42 minutes of this broadcast as we are taking a look at this number 81 of Dragon Speed USA, as we have behind the wheel right now Pato Ward. Really good driver, Mexican driver here. Taryn, you remember him? He actually won at at Long Beach this year, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Taryn. I think you don't know, it's either him or Alex Powell, but I think it was Pato Ward who got in and won that thing. And he is driving great right now, leading by nearly 3.5 seconds over at Delatraz in that number 8 in the LMP2 category. And by the way, the number 8 certainly has had a great day as well of Tower Motorsports, another Orica car here, Orica 07 Gibson. Currently in that car right now, we have Louis Delatraz of Switzerland. So some great racing going on here, and that's what we're looking at currently. So in the DPI, we continue to take a look at this. Sebastian Bourdais out front by over 1.5 seconds. And looks like the gap is also there over Conway. Conway with a 4.5, almost 4.5, actually a little over 4.5 seconds back. Albuquerque, he will be in that number 10, 7, actually around it to 8. About 8 seconds back, 7.9 seconds back. And that's how we're looking in the DPI. Currently the top 4 right now is how we're looking there. And here we go, on over, back to the lockup of that 60, of that Acura. Looks like it just got a little tight. So realistically, we don't really know what's going on. I haven't really seen anything or read anything too crazy about this car. But we certainly see him back on the way. It's not in the top 4, but we shall see if they can get right back on up there. So this car hasn't had a problem all day staying up front, but there's also a big chance, and I'm saying a big chance, that, yeah, hey, they're just moving, and here we go, right back to the action. That 60 is coming right back up. I wonder what happened. I really wonder how. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here. But anyway, the 60 is moving back up the field. This little car is on a mission, as we can see. And here we go. Moving up here. Looks like we got ourselves panning back over to Sebastian Bourdais, passing lap traffic, passing some GTI, some LMP2s there. And actually LMP1, I believe. But moving fast. And here we continue to see the brilliance of Sebastian Bourdais coming to the tri-oval and completing another lap, looking strong as he has all day long. And yet another commercial break. So we will go ahead and jump to another commercial. My favorite thing to do. And we'll be right back after this. You're listening to the third stint of the Rolex 24 right here on iSports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, sports fans? Are you looking for the latest on Northern California sports? Then take a trip out west with me, your host, Gina G, on Reppin' the NorCal Sports, right here on IESports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'll be bringing it to you all the way live every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's always a packed show. I'll bring you everything Dynastic 49ers, the bite of the San Jose Sharks, torture of the San Francisco Giants, the Golden State Warriors that we still believe. Then take you across the bay to the rise and grind of the Oakland A's. I've got you covered on college ball from the Cal Bears to the Stanford Cardinal, so that no matter what, reppin' in NorCal sports is always reppin' the Bay. So if you bleed red and gold, or you're looking to keep an eye out west in them thar hills, don't miss me, Gina G, on reppin' in NorCal sports. Catch me every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'll have your fandom repped harder than a trio of defenders guarding Stephen Curry before his buzzer beater is Gucci.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you looking for a sports show that maybe isn't 100% about sports?
Then you might want to check out the Sports Couple Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Most sports shows cover only scores and stats, and while we're not opposed to that, we dig a little deeper into sports issues and some of the hottest topics in athletics.
In addition to sports, we take a journey through my neck of the woods, pop culture, with movie reviews of both sports and non-sports films.
Speaking of pop culture, make sure to participate in our game nights, where we quiz each other on our specialties, and you, the listeners, can win IE Sports Radio apparel.
We always have a great time learning more about each other's worlds, one show at a time.
So join us each week on the Sports Couple Perspectives, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So many great shows. We appreciate you all so very much for joining us here, whether you're listening live or on the podcast. We appreciate you so very much. This has been a fun race, and man, we've enjoyed this thing. I'll tell you. Well, we're currently looking in here. We got about 32 minutes left, and, well, at least an hour stint. And, man, it has been something else. So, here we go, you guys. Taking a look. Looks like they're under the zone. No, they got themselves a DPI on jacks. And, unfortunately, well, it's definitely, let's see here. Not that 40, not the, oh boy, that's that 48 Jones looks like. I'm not sure. But okay, well, I do know for a fact, sorry, I came in at a weird time. But I do know that we are moving now back out here on the track. And number one of Bourdais and the Cadillac is rolling. What a car, man. This number one, the 01, is moving and moving fast. As we see here, the Sebastian Bourdais of France is moving on up, and he has now opened a 6-second gap here over that number 5 of Westbrook. And yeah, I mean, this has been fun. Really, the 60 looked very dominant, very strong for a while out front. And Jarvis has now, by the way, taken the seat. Oliver Jarvis of the UK, and really, it seems as, I mean, of course, no knock on him. Castro Neves was all over this one, but really, I believe that right now, this Acura has enough horsepower, enough speed to really, really, really stay on these leaders. Regardless, at the moment, still, I guess, kind of trailing a little bit. Sebastian Bourdais looks like the cream of the crop at the moment, and really, it just kind of turns into what he's able to do with this car and how long that stint is. We are actually doing stints here across our family of networks, so I'm going to go ahead and give you that information at the moment because we are on a short break here on the television. So, all right, so earlier today, man, it has been a great, I'm talking about a great day today here. USRN started things off here at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. The race got underway at 10:40, 1:40, and went all the way, that broadcast, with Matt Owens, Mr. Matt White, Josh, of course. I don't know if he's a newcomer or not, but definitely a great dude. Haven't heard him before, but really enjoyed his commentary. Really enjoyed that broadcast with them earlier with the gentleman from across the pond. We also had Seth Eves in for just a little, for a bit for the start of the race, and that went all the way on USRN to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. on to, of course, 2 p.m. our time here, Pacific time. Then it ran on over to USRN 2. Matt Owens was on the call for a while. Then we had continuing. Josh was on for quite some time, all the way into the late night, that is. Oh, my goodness. Getting some dryness. Hold on real quick. A little swig of water. Oh, man. Needed that. So, let's see here. Matt Owens and Josh took this thing to about 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Then we had Collins Janis jump on over. And these guys got on it for a while, him and Matt Owens. Matt Owens doing almost 10 hours today. And pretty crazy to see them move all the way into the 9 o'clock hour here on the West Coast, the midnight hour over on the East Coast. And, well, here we are now. You've been with us on you've been with us here on IES Sports Radio from 9 Pacific time, 12 midnight Eastern, all the way up until right now, currently 11:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and to 2:33 Eastern Time, as we have yet another caution. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken, this might be caution 11 or 12, and we are just halfway through the race. Just a little bit over halfway, and yeah, Matt Owens predicted 12. We're here, I think. So, yep, we may have just a little more than 12 in this one. What a race with just the competitiveness. But man, in another way, what a race by just saying, man, these cautions are everywhere. So, certainly a fun one. Certainly a fun race it's been. But these yellows are, they are something. So, oh my goodness. Well, looks like we have here a car just kind of hanging out, unfortunately. And yeah, definitely not because they want to. So, looks like I think it's a GTD car. Let's take a look who this is. Meanwhile, we pan back on over, and oh man, they are hard at work. Hard at work on this DPI. Unfortunately for them, I'm not quite sure. This 48 has been strong. Of course, the team here of Mike Rockefeller, Jimmy Johnson, of course, of NASCAR. We have Kamui Kobayashi of Japan, and Jose Maria Lopez from Argentina. And, well, here we go. The car is being worked on. Unfortunately, this is going to put quite the damper on their day. They have this thing back on blocks, and it's on stands, and they're going hard to work at it. I'm not quite sure of the issue, but I know for a fact that this can't be good. I mean, anytime the car goes back to the garage, it's a lot of work to try and get this car back on that track, and unfortunately, hate to sound negative, but it's not the best sign when your car's back on blocks, so on stands in the back and trying to figure something out. So hopefully they get things together. But we're currently back in the garage with them over on USA, as we're coming up on just 11 hours to go in this race. And it looks like, looks like we got the straps out. Oh, that is a bummer. Straps are out, and the 71, the GTD, that is a toughie. The Lamborghini is, looking like it's just sitting in the middle of nowhere. And they got the straps out, and that might be the day for the 71 here, the GTD. Owen Parkins, I finally got my pizza and fries. Well, enjoy your pizza and fries, man. It took long enough. So, final 20 minutes here of this broadcast, about close to 20 minutes in closing. But this 71, Just what a bummer. They weren't a front runner. They weren't the best car in GTD today. But you know something? They were solid. They were solid. They weren't the worst car out there. Unfortunately, we see this day more than likely come to an end for the team of Franck Perra of France, Matteo Yarena let's see here. Actually, I'm not quite sure. Argentina, I'm not sure. But next up, Maximilian Paul and Misha Goigberg, I believe, of Russia. Sadly enough, this team was a good one. Lamborghini was fast, but unfortunately, we had a little issue, and much like that 48 car right now, that might be the day. Of course, they're probably going to take it back and try to get back on the track, but as we know, it's a total bummer when this is a total bummer when your car just kind of takes a crap and takes a back seat. So, or kind of has you take a back seat in the race. So, Taryn, yeah, fries and pizza sound good. I'm going frugal and having peanut butter sandwiches. How about that? Hey, I'll take that. Gotta love some PBJ, man. Good stuff there, Taryn. But yeah, thank you guys for being in the chat room here as we're coming up on our final 22 minutes of our stint of the Rolex 24, the third leg. So earlier, as I was saying, we, IE Sports Radio, we've taken over from 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 a.m. Eastern, to midnight, of course, coming up on midnight right now, 12 a.m. Pacific Time, 3 a.m. Eastern. So for the rest of the broadcasts coming up today, we will have successfully made it through 3 of 6. And coming up, we will have WSRN from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern. We will have USRN. Sorry. We will have we have USRN 2 from 8 to 12. And Eastern, by the way, and then USRN back on the mothership to start us off, to finish us off from 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific to the finish, of course, which will be right at 1:40 p.m. Eastern, 10:40 p.m. Pacific time. So there we go. After midnight, they have successfully made it an hour ago to halfway, and we are now halfway. We'll be coming up halfway on our broadcasts in just about 21 minutes. So here we go, coming up on 11 hours as we are rolling around the track here under caution. And it has, it's really been a tough one. So the current top 10 right now looks a little something like this. We have, actually it's not even worth saying it as these cars all head down pit road. So yeah, nowhere near worth saying the top 10. Let's take a look at the current DPIs. Bourdais in that number 1 leads the charge. The number 31 of Conway in both 2 Cadillacs there. We have an Acura in the top 4 with number 10, of course, with Albuquerque, Portugal. We have here Ericsson, that number 2 Ericsson of Cadillac, currently in 4th place. Once again, though, they're in the pits, so it's kind of not worth it. But I'll tell you, this should be quite the race off pit road because we have lots of traffic coming in. And you know what that means, lots of traffic going out. So, did we have ourselves a speeding penalty? No, we did not, but we do have the number 1 of Bourdais going back. Oh, no. Going back to the garage. Oh, no. The issues continue for these DPIs, man, these prototype cars. That is a bummer. And look at that. Bourdais will cruise right on into the garage. And it looks like they may have some work to do. It looks like there was a tire out on that car. So we shall see where that leads. But as of right now, we are now under 20 minutes to go here in our broadcast here of IE Sports Radio, our third stint of the Rolex 24. Still under caution here. And it is coming up on 3 in the morning, you guys. 3 in the morning, local time over in Florida. And what a night it has been. So, currently, looks like there may be some issues going on with that. Number one, Bourdais has really taken that number one by the horns. He's made quite the run in it, all around that top two, and we shall see now what's in store for that car as it sits in the garage at the moment. Oh, my apologies. Coming up on midnight over here on the West Coast, so I know it's definitely not late for us over here. But yeah, for those of you on the East Coast, I commend you all. It's currently 2:42 local time, and man, well, I know where I'm going to be at 2:42. I'm going to be fast asleep when 2 o'clock hits, 3 o'clock hits over here our time. But we'll definitely be back at it in the morning. Lots of great stuff going on. Once again, tomorrow, make sure to tune in USRN. They'll be finishing up the race here in the morning as well. Matt Owens will be back with you. Matt White, I'm pretty sure Josh will be back. Seth, I mean, it's great people, of course, across the board be with you tomorrow. And then they'll be calling the championship games. Of course, Championship Sunday tomorrow. We got a 12:05 Pacific, 3:05 Eastern kickoff for the AFC Championship as the Bengals, first time there since 1989. The 88 season for them was special, and wouldn't you know it, they would take on the 49ers and lose to a very good 49er team. I believe that was a Montana year, and but correct me if I'm wrong, might be young, but I think it was Montana. But regardless, great stuff there, my birth year. And then, yeah, it's the first time they've been back since. Then we have 3 other teams, of course. The Chiefs, recently there in the last few years. They won one, lost one, and trying to head back to another. And then in the NFC Championship, man, it should be fun. 2 rivals going head-to-head for the 3rd time this season as the San Francisco 49ers. Last time they were there was the Harbaugh Bowl in 2013, and they didn't win it. Last Super Bowl they won was in 1995, in the 95 season. 94 season, 95, the Super Bowl in 1995, where they defeated the Chargers, and they would win their 5th Super Bowl. And then the Rams, the last Super Bowl they had was the greatest show on turf in 2001, I believe, the 2000 or 2001 season, and then the 2000 or 2001 Super Bowl, right around there. I think it was 2000. And then, of course, they got to Super Bowl a couple years ago, but would not make it. They would lose a good one in Super Bowl 53, one of my favorite games. Great defensive game, 13-3. And yes, Taryn, the Niners were in the Super Bowl in 2020, yes. But they would lose, of course. They lost to the Chiefs a couple years ago, and then, yes, before that, in 2013, they would lose to the Ravens. So, yeah, thanks for the correction there, Taryn. But, yeah, should be a great game. Well, should be 2 great games tomorrow. Of course, my 2 picks, Niners and Chiefs. And I think they're going to go at it again. It'd be nice to see the Bengals win. It'd be nice to see the Rams win. But I just kind of think the other 2 will make it happen. So, anyway, so we're back here. We're just under 11 hours to go now in this race. And it looks like we're having a conversation here in the garage, kind of wondering what's going on with this 01. May have an issue. There's a brake change, I think. I'm reading here from the caption. But, oh boy. Maybe a brake change, I don't know. But it's, like I said, not the prettiest, not the best thing when your car is in the garage after such a really good start. So, a little bit more than halfway through this race, and we find ourselves with a solid, and I'm talking about solid race. Why? Because it's happening to everybody equally. Realistically, it is happening to everybody equally. We are seeing the DPIs, man. We are seeing these machines looking good out front for a little bit, and then they kind of, unfortunately, they just kind of fall apart. We've had a few incidents, a few accidents here. We've had some difficulties where we got 2 cars now back in the garage. So, I mean, really, this should be quite the fun finish. So, coming up on just 13 minutes to go here on IE Sports Radio before we pass the baton on over to WSR. And yeah, should be some great stuff there over on Mixler.com. Man, we got, like I said, we continue on with our network of families here, our sports family we got going on. IE Sports Radio, WSR, and of course, USRN, the mothership. So, big ups to everybody for tuning in tonight. It has been a fun one, and if anybody's checking us out on the podcast version, we appreciate you so very much. This, like I said, has been a fun race. And overall, it's exciting. It really has been exciting to see who's been able to do what. So, like I said, really it is really anybody's race. I don't know how this race could just be a single person's race right now. We are way too far from the finish line for that. And like I said, the DPIs, my goodness, are just kind of, I don't want to say dropping like flies, but they are certainly having their issues. But this is usually, how it goes. I mean, maybe not like this to the T, but I will say that when it comes down to it, these teams, man, these teams know what, they know what they're in store for. All the engineers, everybody, the crews, the drivers. These are cars, they're machines. Maintenance is a real thing, overdriving. The people, we're like machines too, I mean, maybe not like machines, but I'm just saying we get tired, So this race is endurance for not only the cars, but the drivers as well, and everybody who participates in these races. So looking forward to a really good finish coming up in just 11 hours. Now we're getting under here. So, okay, here we go. Taking a look back here to, let's see here. See if we can get it. Okay, so the current leaders in all 5 classes right now, we currently have Richard Westbrook of JDC Miller Motorsports in the DPI, number 5. We have the number 8, Luis Delatraz in the LMP2 of Tower Motorsports. We also have the LMP3, K. Van Berlo of Raleigh Motorsports. In the GTD Pro, Jules Ganon, I don't want to butcher his name there, of WillyTech Racing in the 97. And then in the GTD, the 44 of Andy Lally of Magnus Racing, currently leading in the GTD. So we shall see how these pan out moving forward. But man, we have so long to go. So here we go. Green flag has dropped and we are back at it. All right. So final 10 minutes here of the broadcast. We appreciate you once again for being a part of us here tonight. And, let's continue to roll on with this as we get on into the turn. First turn 1 here over here. We got the DPIs going head to head, and here we go like we knew we would. It's getting down, man. These DPIs are going head to head. And Westbrook out front, leading by less than a tenth of a second over Albuquerque in that number 10. Jarvis in that 60. That 60, we knew it. They'd be right back up there in that Acura. Just 4/10 of a second back. And 7/10 of a second back, the 31 of Conway. 4 strong DPIs going head to head. Man, this has been every bit of the race you'd want out of these guys. So it's been a good one. And we continue now. Here we take a look at the LMP2 class. Delatraz will lead nearly a tenth of a second over Pato Award. Then we have the number 81, the number 29 of Vandergaard. Almost actually a tenth of a second, almost 2/10 of a second back. And then we have Vanderhelm, a full second, and almost 2 seconds back for that fourth place. Currently at LMP3, Van Barlo, the 74 Van Barlo is 1 lap ahead of the number 33 of Barbosa, the number 54 of Johnson, the number 36 of Burden. Actually, those are 2, my goodness. The number 36 of Burden and the number 13 of Bell, both back 2 laps. And then it gets even crazier. The number 7 of a step is 15 back, and then Siegel. The number 26 of Siegel is 26, I believe, back, or 27, something like 26. But yeah, so as you can see, the classes tend to disperse. They tend to have space. But man, these DPIs, the fastest cars on the track, and well, they're showing it here as they are speeding. Here we go. So back to the action. DPI is rolling here. And the number 5 of Westbrook. Look at this. Oh my goodness, we're almost, man, that would have been great to be 3 wide. A little too much there. So next up, let's take a look here. That number 10 of Albuquerque, right behind the 02 of Magnuson now, behind the wheel of the 02. And we have just a very close 1, 2, 3, under a tenth of a second for all 3 cars as we continue around the banks. Through the back straight, here they come. They're opening it up all the way as they go ahead and get into this turn. Oh my goodness, through the bus stop. And here we go. Back up around, back to the bank. And it looks like, yes, Westbrook is still holding out strong. Looking pretty good, but Albuquerque is gaining. My goodness, he is gaining fast. Coming up fast on Westbrook. He is half of a tenth of a second behind. My goodness, what a run! What a run! Here he comes on the outside, and will he make it? No, he will not. Okay, here he goes. Around the outside. Nope, not going to make it that time either. Coming in around the zigzags. But Albuquerque is on him. That number 10 is coming. So let's take a look and see if this number 5 can just stay right where he is. They look pretty good. This number 5 team has actually been solid all day long. So let's see what they've got. Let's go ahead and continue here through the lap as we go. So, all right. So we're riding on board with that number 10 right now of Albuquerque. Once again, the Portuguese driver, great driver he is. Going back about 3/10 of a second now. And Magnuson still almost a second back, but not quite a full second. And here we go, going down the back straight again through the bus stop. And it looks like Westbrook is not letting up whatsoever. Holding, even though it's 3/10 of a second, holding strong to it, is hitting his marks. And that is the most important thing. You know, making sure you're hitting your marks, making sure your car is being as efficient as it can be, hitting your marks, and making sure you are 100% getting every bit of this car, even if that means getting every bit of the track. So, of course, that's not the what's going on here. But anyway, so here we go, and Westbrook out front still leading in that number 5. Let's take a look and see what we got. All right. So, okay, let's see. What do we got? Okay. So, continuing here down the back straight, we have, coming up around the turn, we have here some more action. Westbrook out front, looking good. And it looks like we have, still quite the battle out front. Westbrook leading by 4/10 of a second. Now opening up the gap 1 second behind, opening the gap 1 second over Magnuson in that 02. So, well, as these cars continue to go around the track, I must say our time here at IE Sports Radio has come to a close. So, it has been real, y'all. It has been fun, and I can definitely say I had a blast tonight. Cecilia and I both did. It was a lot of fun, of course, talking about the Rolex 24. And there's only one thing left to do before we're out here tonight. I think y'all know. Cue the music, because we're out of here. All right, y'all. Got to make sure we end in style for tonight. It has been a fun one, and we are out of here. I think it's a few moments. And yeah, Taryn, it has definitely been quite the ride. 3 hours with us here tonight. Cecilia's pretty much calling it a night. She got tired. She's laying down on the couch. She's enjoying the race, but just kind of zoning out. I don't blame her. We're hitting midnight over here. And yeah, Taryn says I need to hit the sack soon. I work at 6 a.m. Oh my gosh. Taryn, you should have been in bed a while back. I'm sorry, but I didn't even mean to make it tune in. My bad about that, man. But we appreciate you tuning in. Owen Parkin, we appreciate you tuning in today as well. Taryn, we appreciate you tuning in, brother. And thank you very much. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, we had Cecilia on the call earlier with me. But it's been crazy. We've certainly had fun here. But, like I said, that will do it for our time here today. Still leading out front, Westbrook by 0.5 of a second. That number 5 is looking strong. Taryn, you get you some rest, buddy. I am certainly, Cecilia and I are certainly going to do the same. We got to get up in the morning, head to church, grocery shopping, then we got some football to watch. So, thank you very much, Taryn. This is a great job, Larry. You made it very enjoyable. Well, thank you very much, sir. You, with your great comments, man, definitely made this more enjoyable as well. We're going to pass the baton now over to WSR Wellington Sports Radio. Don't know who's going to be on the call. Terrence says, I also had a men's volleyball match to go the distance. Oh, man, it went to 5 sets. Hopefully, Long Beach State won that one, man, I believe. But, it was quite the race here today, and all I gotta say is this thing is so far from over. We are now under 11 hours to go, and this race has been absolutely amazing. So, it's been a fun one, and we have really had a fun one here. Make sure you stay tuned. Head on over to Mixler.com. Catch WSR Wellington Sports Radio. They are up next. 12 p.m. Pacific time, midnight here on the West Coast, 3 a.m. local time over there in Daytona, 3 a.m. on the East Coast. And, well, we're going to hand the baton off. We did our job here. Our stint has officially come to a close, and we are handing off the baton to WSR. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. For Cecilia, for me, your boy Larry B, for IE Sports Radio, we're happy to contribute to this year in our family of networks for the Rolex 24. We will see y'all next time. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.